Hello, everybody. Welcome to Happy Hour Sports Talk. It is, oh man, it's the best time of the year. We got college football coming up, and now finally, myself, the Brofect One, AJ, and joining me, of course, the Money Train, Noah. We finally, Noah, after months and months of buildup, months and months of news, months and months of owners suddenly moving to Ohio and finding themselves in a trailer park and stuff like that. A wedding happened this off season. A reporter and a head coach may have done something, but finally, Noah, doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters, Noah, because we are here to talk football. We are here to talk football, what matters, and not all of this cherry fluff bullshit that the ESPNs and Fox Sports of the world have to dig deep and find, to fill airtime because there's no football going on, because none of them are good enough to talk about baseball. None of them are good enough to talk about hockey. Half of them barely can talk about basketball, but it doesn't matter, Noah. We are a couple of weeks away from kickoff of the NFL. We are breaking down the NFC. How are you doing? How have you been coping without football? How ready are you for football to be back?
Hey man, yeah. I mean, you know how the summer months go, right? Good news is football ends, and then you got the real swing of for me NHL. That's the big thing. NBA's also allegedly going on. College basketball. I'm huge fan of college basketball. Obviously, if you follow the show, know I'm not a huge NBA fan. I always say the NBA doesn't even start till the playoffs. Um, but yeah, it keeps you busy, keeps things going, and then you hit this little lull where there's just mainly golf. Thank God for the World Cup this year. I did get very into that.
That was great.
I do think I'm gonna get a little bit into soccer. The World Cup. I I've I've enjoyed the World Cup previously. I think I caught the bug this year, and I'm still debating what my team's going to be. I feel like it's got to be Premier League because I don't know that there's enough
Yes.
coverage or competition in any of the other ones. Jury's still out on my team. That's all I'll say about that. But enough to tide you over. But man, I just keeps you distracted from how much you
So
miss football.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Noah. Shout out to the World Cup. That was incredible, And I think it was great that it was games, during our time. Like, we weren't waking up at 3 a.m. to watch, Team USA and everything. It was perfect for our. Anyway, we can talk World Cup later. But no, I'm doing the same thing. I'm about to have a kid. And so I'm about to be up at all hours of the day. So yeah, I'm down for some Premier League. I might even get down with some Liga A, I think they call it, or Serie A, I believe. I'm sorry, Serie A.
Are you talking? Well, yeah, it depends on the country. They're all different things, but
But
yeah,
no, Premier
nice thing
League,
is,
I'm also out on a team. I don't think I'm going to pick a team, though. I think I'm just going to bet it. You know what I mean? I think I'm just going to I'm not going to get attached to a team. I'm just going to, all right, let's just, take a quick look at what I can look at. Let's throw a bet on and just see what happens. You know what I mean?
I thought about like a thought that crossed my mind was, oh, instead of picking a team to root for, I might pick a hate team and just hope they cheer for them to get
Ooh.
relegated, and then just cheer against them every night. Um, that I was pondering that for a bit, and I think I just want a team to root for. I think I'm leaning Man City right now. Just love Erling Haaland, but I'm not fully committed to it yet. I got to see. I'll probably within 4 to 6 weeks from now have my team chosen. It's most likely going to be Man City, but I'm not fully on board yet. Um, but I also think it would be fun to just root for a team to get fucking relegated. Like I'm just going to be the biggest. I'm going to be the biggest Tottenham Hotspurs hater. Like
Just
barely
hop
escaped
in those
relegation
message
last year.
boards. They'll love you, brother.
Yeah. I don't care who they're playing. I'll just cheer for the other team every single time. Like that might be
Call
kind of
yourself
fun. I
American
don't know.
football fan in the message boards. They'll love it. They'll love it. But Noah, that's why we are here, because it feels like as much as the NFL stays the same, so much changes. It might not be big changes for teams. It's small changes for teams. And it's those small changes that could mean the world, but it's also those big changes that could mean the world. A lot of teams this year blew everything up, ready to start from scratch, ready to build for the future. A lot of teams, like, We might got something here. Let's go ahead and roll the dice. And a lot of teams that are, hey, we were competitive last year. We're ready to go. Let's get it. Let's just run it back, add a couple pieces. It's a lot of a little. And we're talking NFC. So, yes, at some point we will have to talk about my Arizona Cardinals, which seems to be the butt of a lot of jokes this offseason. Rightfully so. But we'll get to that later. We'll also talk about the Vikings, which I can't wait to get into. But Noah, this has been a fun offseason. I don't know if you've had as much fun with the offseason as I have had, but seeing the moving pieces, seeing how some teams are rebuilding, seeing how new coaches, new coordinators have been, working in, especially with training camp coming in. I'm excited for this season. And I said it last season, and I'm going to say it again this season. This has been one of the harder seasons, because we're talking floor ceiling and what we think they're actually going to go. This was a hard one to kind of break down every team and then look at their schedule, and it's going to be a hell of a season. I think on track to be one of the best yet.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, always is. Off season, very interesting. Not over yet, too, may I say.
True.
Obviously, if you watch the show, I'm a Packers fan. We signed Jonnu Smith today. I mean, that's whatever. But the big news, Packers Cardinals obviously playing this week in preseason, having joint practices. Okay. You got the LaFleur brothers. There's a lot of rumors swirling that Josh Sweat might not be flying back on the plane to Arizona, that the Packers are seriously considering a trade for Josh Sweat. The Cardinals were originally stuck on a second-round pick is what it was going to take to get him. It's now looking like a fourth-round pick and a depth player might be enough to get that done. If they do get that done by Saturday, Sunday, in all likelihood, Josh Sweat's just staying in Green Bay and not getting back on the plane to Arizona. So we'll see. That's just one example. I'm sure other pieces might still move before the season starts, but off-season has been busy. It's been good. It's been interesting, but it might not even be done yet.
No. And if Jerry Jones has anything to say about it, he'll do what he loves to do and give someone a massive contract or sign someone or make a big trade literally hours before the first kickoff.
Yeah. Sweat, by the way, a guy who new Packers defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon might not be too unfamiliar with.
Also, Sweat has been tied to the Packers literally since before the draft, and so it's not shocking to me that it's just maybe some logistical trade pieces that are being worked out.
Yeah,
but anyway, Noah, we will get to the Packers. We will get to them. I almost wanted to start with the West or the North, but I said no. Let's start with one of our favorite divisions in football, Noah. Let's start with the NFC South. You bet, brother. We are starting hot and heavy going into this season. Atlanta Falcons. Let's go ahead and get started there. What a off season, honestly.
I gotta cut you off real quick. I'm shocked. You didn't call him your coined term for him?
It was yours. I was gonna let you do it.
No, you came up with that.
The Waffle House division. We're going to the Waffle House division, Noah. We're starting with
I was waiting for it, and you did deliver it to me. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. I was thrown off by the fact that you didn't address them as the Waffle House division.
So you gotta understand, Noah. This baby can come at any time. I'm stressed to the max. I can barely remember my name half the time. I walked into Jersey Mike's the other day, and the person said, "What do you want?" As if I don't get the same thing every time I'm at Jersey Mike's. And I was like, give me a minute. I don't know. It's been rough, but Noah.
And then you tried to order it Jimmy's way.
Shit.
They damn near shot you on
Jersey Mike's, dude. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get to the Waffle House division, Noah, starting with the Falcons. And interesting offseason they had. Made a big move at head coach. Kevin Stefanski moving on from the Browns, which, oh, man, I can't wait to talk about the Browns next week. I'm so excited to talk about the Browns next week. Anyway, Kevin Stefanski taking over the head coaching job. Matt Ryan taking over as president of football operations. Not taking over. He wasn't last year, but still, good position for him, keeping him in the building, and he's been very involved. Go ahead, bring in Tua Tagovailoa because, yes, let's go ahead and bring in Tua. That makes a lot of sense. Michael Penix may not be the future of this. I get it.
But now you got two lefties.
Two lefties, which it's rare to see one, and now you got two of them. One's backing up the other, whichever way you cut it. It's crazy. They take care of some people. They extend Drake London, they extend Kyle Pitts. Shout out to the people still taking Kyle Pitts in the first round. I respect the fact that you believe in him in fantasy football. It will come around at some point. I promise you.
Tight end 2 last year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thanks to his 46 points week 18 or 17 or whatever the fuck that was.
Oh man, it's crazy. But draft. They did a lot. They didn't. They got some pieces. Zachariah Branch out of Georgia, I think, will make some immediate impact here. But overall, Noah, it's hard to feel confident right now with a team that is quarterbacked by Tua or Michael Penix. You didn't see a lot of stuff out of Michael Penix last season that made you feel warm and fuzzy and good inside. You haven't seen a lot out of Tua since that first season Mike McDaniel took over and they put up 50 points on the Jets, I think it was, or whoever the hell it was. But either way, the offense seems like it should run great. Kevin Stefanski, we think, is a good head coach. We don't really know because he's been with the Browns, but he's had some success with the Browns. I don't know how to feel about the Falcons, but my overall sentiment is it's not going to be pretty this season, Noah. This is going to be a growing pain season. This is going to be a next man up season. This is going to be a Kevin Stefanski trying to kind of figure out what this team's going to be season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I'm glad Stefanski got hired back directly into another head coaching role.
And it was quick. It was like a week and a half or something like that.
Yeah, he comes into Cleveland with a shit situation. He probably stayed the head coach longer than he should have, despite the team's success. But I think that's a testament to I feel like Stefanski does have the makings of a potentially really good head coach in the NFL. The Falcons situation that he's taken over, it's not wonderful, but it's certainly better than anything he inherited or even was able to muster up in Cleveland with that front office. The Browns are just a train wreck. We all know that. He's coming into a situation where he doesn't have a third, fourth string quarterback with $40 million plus in dead cap space, and that has to keep a roster spot. There's a lot of weapons. You look at this division as a whole, the offensive weapons that Atlanta has is better than any other team.
Oh, it's disgusting.
In this division. The quarterback position, like you said, it's a big question mark for me. Their defense, a little bit of a question mark as well. What we did see out of Penix last year was not phenomenal. Granted, Kirk wasn't playing tremendous.
No.
Would have been really interesting if Stefanski was here a year earlier. Obviously, the offensive coordinator in Minnesota under some of Kirk's best years. Kirk, obviously moved on to Vegas, but it would have been fun to see a reunion. I could guarantee you Kirk would be the starter this year if with Stefanski at the helm. But
for sure,
that doesn't matter because he's not there. It's going to be interesting. I think we'll see some of both quarterbacks throughout the year, regardless of. Have they officially announced who's starting week 1?
Nothing that I've seen yet. No, nothing.
I was going to say, I think this one's still up in the air. I anticipate we'll probably see Tua, but I also wouldn't be absolutely shocked if Penix is in there right away. Again, whoever starts week 1, I think we are going to see both quarterbacks at different times this year because I think there are going to be, like you said, some growing pains to the Falcons this year. I don't think either quarterback's good enough to just go out and dazzle and lock down the starting job. So as soon as things start turning south a little bit, I feel like we're going to see quarterback changes, and we might see a quarterback change, and then like 3, 4, or 5 weeks later, going back to whoever was at the start of the season, and
For sure.
it might flip back and forth a couple times. I think that's totally within the realm of possibilities. But yeah, they got an absolute stud wide receiver in Drake London, who they paid. Kyle Pitts coming off a year where he finished as the number 2 tight end in like over half of the metrics. He finally, it's like after 4 years of people saying, Pitts, oh, he's going to be this great, like super good tight end. And 3 years of just not even coming close to those expectations. Last year, we got a taste of like, oh, okay, yeah, feed Kyle Pitts the ball. He can do some damage. I think he's going to put up similar stats to what he did last year. I don't think he's going to like take a huge step forward off of that. I think it's going to be more consistent, less like he had a couple games last year where he just absolutely blew up. I think we're going to see less of that, but more like consistent play, consistent targets, consistent catches, yards, with touchdowns. Obviously, you got Bijan Robinson, who's one of the probably 3 to 5 best running backs in the league. Yeah. There's some good weapons. There's some good weapons. The quarterback position just is a question mark for me. Their defense also a question mark. I'll preface it here with the Falcons because just for the whole division here, I don't think there's a lot of separation between first and fourth in this division.
No. Oh, God.
And the NFC South loves to be one of those divisions where it's all compact. And I think this is one of 2 divisions we're going to talk about in the NFC where it's going to be pretty compact, 1 through 4. Do the Falcons have enough to win this division? I don't think so. I've got them finishing 3rd. I think Carolina's going to repeat. We'll get to them. I think Carolina's going to repeat by a very razor-thin margin.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, this could go any which way. They could win the division. I think there's going to be 3-game separation between first and fourth in this division. Winner's probably going to be at about 10-7. We could even see this division loves to have a 9-8 or an 8 or 9 win team at the helm because they're all going to go fucking 3-3 in division play and just really convolute the whole thing as they love to do. It's going to come down to week 18, and if I had to take my best stab at it, I think Atlanta finishes 3rd. I could see them as 4th. 2nd is about the same I have. I don't see them as a division winner.
So floor ceiling, give it to me, Noah. Because, I mean, this is not an easy schedule we're looking at. Opening up at Pittsburgh, hosting Carolina, at Green Bay, at New Orleans, hosting Baltimore, hosting Chicago, hosting San Francisco, at Tampa, hosting Cincy. I mean, and a late bye. This is a tough schedule, Noah. What's your floor ceiling on this?
Yeah, for the Falcons, I think everything goes right with them. I got them at about 9-8. With, like you said, the strength of – and that's if the quarterback play clicks, whether that's Tua, whether that's Penix. If something's clicking there, they have the weapons to score a lot of points. The defense is going to have to show up too. Stefanski, huge offensive guy, great offensive mind. So if he can get good play out of either of those 2 quarterbacks, this offense can make up for a lot of the shortcomings that their defense may have. So yeah, ceiling I got him at is 9-8, which, like I said, in the Waffle House division, 9-8 can 8 and 9 That's can win you the Waffle House division. So 9-8's fine. Floor, if they're not getting that quarterback play, if the defense is struggling, I still think they're going to win some games. Worst case scenario, I got them at probably 5-6 wins. And if that happens, they're probably holding down the bottom of the division.
So I'm at 3-14 for their floor right now. I really don't have a lot of faith in this team. Huh? I think they will be. This is not an easy schedule we're looking at, Noah. I think New Orleans, we'll get to New Orleans, but I think New Orleans is going to be much improved. I think the Ravens are still going to be strong. Chicago, whether I like it or not, is going to be good. Kansas City's going to be bad. Like, it's a tough schedule that they have ahead of them. And again, if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. And that's definitely the situation we're at with the Falcons. Granted, both of them are lefties, so not going to be that much of a change for the receivers seeing the ball come out of hand, which I guess is a plus.
Ball's going to
But
rotate the same way.
yeah, I mean that's a plus, I guess. But I think Kevin Stefanski's in a rough spot, and he's used to being in rough spots. He can definitely coach the hell out of a team. But like you said, with the concerns of the defense, I have their ceiling at 7-10. I don't think that they can go above 500 this year. I don't think they're going to go above 500 this year. And realistically, I got them closer to 5 wins this season.
Do you think they finished last in
5-12? Oh God, this is such a bad division. Yeah.
I mean, if you're, I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
I think they go last. I mean, we're going to run through the division, so I mean, we can argue about that in a minute. Let's go to the team.
As I said, I can see any of these 4 teams. They all. This is the one division where every team can finish first and every team can finish last. Like
true.
That is the only division this year that I will say that's in the realm of possibilities that all 4 teams could finish in any position.
I'm there. Well, let's go to another team that definitely has the opportunity to be down there towards the bottom. The Carolina Panthers, 8-9 last season. So they won the division last year, going 8-9, losing to the Rams in the wild card. That sucks. But hey, that's a hell of a first year for a head coach in Dave Canales, who made the move from Tampa Bay. And first year with Bryce Young. Looked good, looked confident. T-Mac coming in there, looking good, looking really good. But, hey, getting some defensive help this offseason, getting Jalen Phillips, for 4 years from the Eagles. Kenny Pickett, I don't know why the fuck I put that note in there.
Well,
but Noah,
in case Bryce,
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck I thought it was important.
They got tiny hands
Kenny
to take
Pickett,
over.
But yeah, they signed tiny hands. I don't know. No, this is a team that definitely had a lot going in the right way. I like the development of Xavier Legette. I love the development of T-Mac. Chuba Hubbard is a solid guy. And they got some young talent in the backfield, on the offensive side as well. Defense needs some improvement, granted. But then again, you could say that about pretty much any team in the Waffle House division. I don't know, man. I'm looking for this team to definitely build on what they had last year. Where are you at?
Yeah, I think I don't know how much more success they're going to have than last year, but they won the division, like you pointed out, at a measly 8-9 record. By the way, fun fact: Carolina Panthers have won their division with a losing record more than any other team in NFL history. 3 times that's happened for the Panthers.
That's incredible.
They are the only team since the formation of this division to win it 3 years in a row. And in that little stretch of 3 years in a row, twice they won it with a losing record. Crazy.
That's great numbers.
But I do think they will improve off of last year. Canales, I thought, did a phenomenal job with a team that looked like an absolute train wreck when he took over. Bryce Young looked like he was not cut out for the NFL in his rookie year. Canales came in, and he looked serviceable last year. I think Bryce Young's going to – I'm a huge Bryce Young believer. Like, I think that was absolutely the right pick for them. I think they just had bad coaching, bad supporting cast around him. He was not thrown into the right environment there year one. He got a little bit of a chance to build last year. I think he's going to be a little bit better. Got some absolute weapons there in T-Mac, and I think T-Mac's going to take a big step forward this year in year 2, as wide receivers seem to do that more than about any other position. Yeah. Year 2, it's that sophomore year wide receiver thing where they just blow the fuck up. And there's another guy at wide receiver who real nitty-gritty, deep down football fans have been big on, but the general casual fans probably have no idea or have barely heard his name. Jalen Coker. All the sickos out there know Jalen Coker, and I'm a sicko myself. Jalen Coker is going to be in for a big season. They're going to have a really, really nice wide receiver tandem. if it doesn't absolutely blow up this year, wait for next year. And T-Mac and Jalen Coker, it's going to be real fun there. They missed on Xavier Legette. He's funny, but ain't that good at the whole wide receiver thing. I think Bryce Young takes a step forward. I think the offensive line took a little bit of a step forward. I think the defense is going to be a little bit better this year. I think Carolina, they won 8 games last year. I like them winning 9 or 10 this year and taking the division for the second time in a row.
I respect it. I mean, this is a solid team and a team that's definitely poised to make a big jump. No, I couldn't agree more with you on that. Schedule, I mean, they're playing the same teams as the Falcons. So, yeah, it's a tough schedule. I think they can definitely carve out a couple of wins in places that we're not expecting them. But I put them – I think their ceiling is closer to 11-6. I think they could rip off a couple of really good wins here. Floor is probably 7-10 for me, and then I think they're going to go 8-9 again this season. I think they're going to do about the same. 9-8. I think they're going to go 9-8. Do one game better than they did last season. Go above 500. Win the division. Move on. Well, I don't know if they're going to win the division. They're one of the 2 teams I think that can win the division. One of the 3 teams I think that can.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm right there with you with the ceiling for them. Floor, if all shit hits the fan, I got them a game lower with the floor at like 6-11.
That's fair. I
don't think that happens. And then, like I said, I think they win 9-10 games this year, which I do anticipate with how these 4 team schedules are shaping out. I think 9-10 is going to be not 9-10. 9-8 should be enough. 10-7 will be enough to win this division.
You think 10-7 is it? You think that's the number? They're playing what, the NFC North and sprinkling a couple of NFC West teams in there. That's a rough schedule.
I think it's what is it? The NFC North and the AFC East or AFC North. They play the AFC North and the NFC North. They got Steelers, Bengals.
No, Packers are on the schedule. Packers, Bears, Minnesota, Lions. Yeah, NFC North, AFC North.
Yeah, which is tough outside of the Cleveland Browns. That's a tough draw.
For some reason, Arizona shoved in there. What the fuck? Why are we? Anyway.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Again, I really think 9 wins might win the division. I think 10 wins absolutely earns you this division.
I could see it.
And it's going to come down to one of these teams goes 5-1 in division play. They've got the division,
Yeah, true. Let's hope it comes down to that, and we don't just have a scramble for the 4th.
But I do think we'll be in the same seat that we have many other years with this division, where week 18, and you got
it's the division,
2 interdivision games, and both of those games are each going to have an impact on who wins the division, because even if one team wins one game, they need another team to lose the other game, or vice versa. And so,
or lose it by this many points, or win it by this many points.
It's going to come down to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th tiebreaker, like it loves to do in this division.
God, you gotta love the Waffle House, dude.
There's going to be 3 teams.
I kind of want to go get some Waffle House right now. I'm not gonna.
We're going to run into another fucked up situation where there's 3 teams tied at 8 and 9, and then it's just
Or Noah, put your tinfoil hat on real quick, okay? There is a world where the Saints come marching in, and that Saint is Tyler Shuck coming in for the MVP, bro. Thank you. I've been waiting for a good one. I was not proud of the ones we did for our college football episode, so I'm glad I could work that one in. But anyway, instead of tooting my own horn, go ahead and call me insane, Noah, but strong year last year, I thought, for the Saints. They go 6-11. Sure, that sucks. But let's not forget, okay? They allowed Spencer Rattler to start games in the National Football League, okay? First of all, I do want someone arrested for that, because no one should ever be forced to watch Spencer Rattler ever play football again. Okay, we should get him off the roster. That's a whole other story. But Noah, again, I loved what Tyler Shuck showed up last year. I loved what he did. Not to mention, they go ahead, Bring in Travis Etienne Jr. this offseason. Absolutely love it. Go ahead, bring in Cam Jordan one more year. One more run for Cam Jordan. Give some, veteran aspect to that defensive line. And, I I don't want this clipped. Okay, I want this very clear. I don't want this next part clipped. But Jordan Tyson out of ASU, solid pick. Fucking, the guy's a stud. I will. What? What was that look? What was that look? I thought you gave me a look. No? Okay. Anyway.
You tripping, dog.
I'm tripping?
I don't know. What's up?
I don't know.
I was doing
regardless.
Math. I was doing math in my head. That's probably what you were.
Oh, okay. That's definitely what I thought. I thought because that was when I was saying ASU, and then we're doing math.
No, I was trying to count numbers.
That's the face you make when you do math. That's scary.
I don't know. Was it scary? I don't know. Roll the tape back. I don't know. Fuck.
We don't have that technology or that budget, Noah. Anyway,
boom.
But I'm excited for this Saints team. I think they're gonna take a step forward. I like what Kellen Moore has done, even in his first year. And this is I think the first full year of his era. This is his first year with Tyler Shuck as the starter. I think Tyler Shuck is clearly a starter, obviously. And I think he's going to take that step, Noah. I loved what I saw from him last year. And the thing about the way he played was, it wasn't like, oh my God, we haven't seen a quarterback this fast. We haven't seen a quarterback with this kind of accuracy. In the most respectful way possible, he was a Kirk Cousins type quarterback that performed at a high level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that a bit. Dude did go 5-4 as a starter, so he did have a winning record last year for a Saints team that you and I and a lot of us were saying would be lucky to win 3 games. They looked real bad after the Derek Carr retirement announcement. Only a couple weeks or a month before the season started, and coming out with Spencer Rattler, and they looked real bad. And then Shuck takes over about halfway through the season and posts up a nice little 5-4 record there. And I think he had a 4-game stretch where they won 3 out of 4. And Saints were kind of buzzing a little bit, like they weren't a charity case by the end of the season.
No, you didn't feel bad for them like you did some other teams that we're going to talk about later. But what do you think they're going to do this year? No, you think they're going to improve much? You think they're going to stay the same? What's their floor? What's their ceiling?
I think we're going to see a Saints team that's a lot more in line with what we saw after Shuck took over for the team. I feel like they're going to float right around 500 this year, and they're going to be not great. They're not going to blow your socks off. They're not going to beat. No. They're not going to beat a lot of division winner, real dominant playoff teams, but they should take care of business against bad teams. A lot of their division games and some of these other games, they're going to stay competitive against teams that they should stay competitive against. And we'll see. I had to bring in ETN, obviously, because who knows what's going on with Kamara. That was last year, obviously, hardly played last year. He's potentially injured starting this year. I did take a round 14 floater on Kamara in my
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
One fantasy draft that I've done so far, especially because I'm like, I think now he's still has a fucking questionable on him for some reason. He's not even going to be playing until at least week 5.
But it's questionable.
Right. So I'm pissed off because I'm like, change the fucking designation, because my whole point in drafting him was so I could throw him in the IR slot and pick up somebody else on my roster. I don't know. He's up there in age. He did not do anything last year. He hasn't had a full healthy season in like 6 years. But we'll see a month or 2 into the season if Kamara comes back, if he's got a little bit, I feel like there's a little bit of gas left in that tank for 1 or 2 more years until he actually retires. So we'll see. I mean, that could be an absolute weapon though to go along with ETN being kind of the bell cow running the ball. You got Olave, who's really good. I don't really know about the rest of the receiving core and tight ends. That's kind of a struggle. Defense should be okay.
Defensively fine. I mean, and that's always been the, kind of the star, like light at the end of the tunnel with the Saints is okay. The defense is at least going to keep them in games.
Yeah, and realistically for the Saints, I got their ceiling at about 9-8, which, as I said previously when we were talking about the Panthers, should be enough to win the division. Should be enough to win the division. Floor, I kind of don't have the floor super far off from my ceiling here with the Saints. I do think 6 wins is where I'm going to have the floor at here, and that's probably going to be the theme of this division for me. Is I pretty much have all of their floor at like 6-11. Like I think they're all
Fair.
good enough. I think they're all good enough. Falcons, I maybe drop that to 5, but I don't think any of these teams are going to win less than 5 games. I think they all should win at least 6. I don't think any of them are going to win more than 10 or more than. I don't think anybody other than Carolina is really going to win more than 9. Like I said, we might have a 3-way 8-9, 9-8 tie at the end of the season. But yeah, I've got a little bit narrower of a floor ceiling with the Saints. I do think they're good enough. In worst case scenario, they win 6 games. I like what Shuck's doing. I think he could build on last year a little bit, but ultimately, there's not enough for me to really fully with my chest say that they're going to win more than 9 games.
I get where you're coming from. I'm right there with the ceiling at 9-8. This is my biggest gap though. I'm 9-8 there. I do think this is a team that can go 3-14. This I'm also thinking about the future. I'm thinking about how good this quarterback draft class is going to be coming up here. And this is a team that has been searching and searching, such as my Arizona Cardinals, for a quarterback for a long time now. And I could see this being, especially with the schedule they have, a team that is, fighting for that 4th win, fighting for that 6th win. But I think they can go for it. Excuse me. I think they'll actually go probably about 8. Excuse me, not 8. I think they'll probably go 7-10 if I'm going to be realistic. I think they're just going to miss out on the playoffs, just miss out on winning the division. I think there's still a lot to be proven. A young wide receiver core. And with Tyler Shuck, and I love Tyler Shuck. I think he is a solid quarterback in the NFL. Is he a starter yet? I think that's still TBD, but this is a solid Saints team. It's a better Saints team than we have seen in the last 3 years going into a season.
Yeah, I don't think the train's off the rails going into the season like it was last year. So.
No. Oh man, yeah.
And again, that Derek Carr retirement announcement last year really kind of threw a fork in things because it was like within a month of the start of the season, they couldn't really pivot, and they were like, "All right, we got this rookie Tyler Shuck, and we got Spencer Rattler," and they.
What was more devastating, Derek Carr retirement that late, or the Andrew Luck retirement with the Colts?
Well, I mean, both of them are hard for the team. Like, right, like when it's an unexpected retirement, because there's plenty of players where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, they may come back one more year when they're older.
Yeah.
Like older players, it's like, oh, they might come back one more year. We might have them. They might not. Whatever. When it's an unexpected retirement, it's just like the team's not planned for that. They're not ready for that. Like these teams are looking 3 to 5. Like they have their 3 and 5 year plans in advance. Like, okay, how are we going to deal with this with like players phasing in, phasing out, contracts coming up, free agency, trades, like the drafts coming in, and when you have a quarterback who's in their young 30s, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, nope, I'm hanging it up, and that close to the start of the season, it's like, oh shit, okay, what are we going to do?
Spencer Rattler, let's go.
And I think they made the right decision with that, honestly, in hindsight, because I don't think Shuck would have had the same success if he was the week 1 starter versus taking over in week 9. He took over in week 9. that's an extra 2.5 months that he had to learn this offense, become acclimated with the schemes, what the team's doing. If he started
what
week
being
one,
in the NFL is and everything. Yeah.
because I love to talk about that too. Like every time the draft comes around, right? It's like uh, you throw these quarterbacks into the fire, these first round quarterbacks, which is typically expected for most first round quarterbacks, and you throw them into the fire, you throw them into the deep end of the pool. Some of them drown, and some of them become superstars. But there's a lot more solid quarterbacks that get drafted in the first, second round that sit for 2-3 years or even half a season and end up better for it. Like I feel like the success rate is like the ceiling's not quite as high, but there's a lot less failures. Like there's been so many top 3, top 5 picks that have absolutely been trashed because they've been thrown into a starting role week 1 and they're just not ready for it.
Oh, I know it.
A lot of them too don't have good cast around them, and you throw them into a starting role week 1, and then their confidence gets shot. And yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm the last person you need to convince on that. No, I know the value of letting a quarterback sit for a little bit and then going in there. We've seen the success rate at this point, and it's negligible at this point to just throw a guy in there, and that's why the Raiders have Kirk Cousins anyway. Dude, all right, let's move on to the last team in the Waffle House division. I'm not stoked on everything I've been hearing coming out of Tampa Bay. Like, it's kind of upsetting me because this is okay, shout out. They got the Vita deal done. Okay, they needed to get that deal done. You requested a trade or whatever happened, and they finally get the deal done. He's back practicing. He's back with the team. Still haven't signed Baker Mayfield yet.
Mike Evans is gone.
Mike Evans is gone. This has been a terrible offseason, coming off of a bad season for the Buccaneers. Go 8-9 last year, missed the playoffs, and they should have owned this division last year. Granted, all of the injuries in the world last year. Looked like they had the fucking 49er substation with them last year. But, Emeka Egbuka, Jesus Christ. He was a bright spot on that offense last year. Baker Mayfield continued to be. Bucky Irving continued to be. Chris Godwin continued to be. This is a good offense. Baker Mayfield is a franchise-type quarterback. It is frustrating the hell out of me that they are not giving Baker the deal he wants. The 5-year, 4-year, however many $1 million. Like Baker, I think at this point has earned. And they don't have anyone on the books right now that's making that kind of money. So it's very easy. If they want to do the whole franchise tag bullshit, fine, go ahead. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Overall, though, Noah, it's hard to look at this team and think this is going to be a bad team this year. You know what I mean? You get Alex Anzalone. You go ahead and bring in Kenneth Gainwell. You go ahead and bring in I'm sorry, I thought there was someone else. No, I ran out of my list. I'm sorry, Noah. But losing Mike Evans, it's a huge one. He seemed like a one helmet guy for a long time, a one jersey guy for a long time. And hey, shit hits the fan. You got to go ahead and do what's best for you. Over to the 49ers.
He did a decade there, basically.
I know, and they just fumbled that. I mean, I thought he was going to be a Larry Fitzgerald type, you know what I mean? And instead, whatever goes down, and now he's with the 49ers.
Yeah, this is actually my last place pick for the NFC South.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, 2 years ago, if you told me I'd be saying that. I would have told you you're full of shit, but the other 3 teams are way younger than the Bucs. They all feel like they're building up to something. And
sure.
Honestly, you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we've seen some slight regression the last 3 off seasons, and I think it's like I think this is the 3rd year in a row we're going to see a little bit of slight regression, and I think they're in danger of finishing last in this division. Like, And as far as paying Baker a long-term contract, I think the reason they're not doing that is because they're aware
They
of
don't
the
know where they want to
situation. They
go.
see what's happening, and they might have to dive. If they finish last place in this division, it's time to dive into a rebuild. Like,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
smart. That's smart. I'm not going to knock them for that because
that's fair.
if this season goes the way that the trajectory's been going, which is a little tick down each year, the last 3-4 years, whatever it is, um, they're going to need to go into a rebuild. And do you want a Baker Mayfield that you're paying $40 to $50 million a year locked in for 3 to 4 years if you're diving into a rebuild? Because it doesn't make any sense to me if you're a GM to be locked into a high price starting quarterback if you need to rebuild the rest of the roster, because that just makes it
Yeah,
harder. If you're able to get a rookie guy who you don't even need to use a top 5, top 10 pick for it, you take a guy in the second round, third round as a rookie. Bring in an old vet. That rookie's sitting on the bench. You have some old vet that you're paying $10 million a year at quarterback. It allows you to build the rest of the pieces so that when you are ready to go take that top 5, top 10 overall pick for a quarterback, you can wait and choose the right guy and get into that situation where you're back to your winning ways and not be stuck in, as we've seen from 5 or 10 other teams in the league, this just eternal rebuild where you're never out of the rebuild because you're just not rebuilding in the correct way. And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying Tampa Bay's in a rebuild yet. Obviously, they go and win this division. It's like, okay, well, maybe we sign Baker to a long-term contract, add some pieces, see what we can do there. But if the season doesn't go your way, like, then you're not, then you got that door completely open to, okay, we let Baker go and we just go full fucking rebuild, and within 2 to 3 years, we're going to be the division favorite again.
I get it. I get it. I that makes a lot of sense, Noah. Oh man. Well, if Baker's on the market, the Cardinals should make every move anyway. Um, Floor ceiling, Noah. What do you think this team's doing?
Uh,
Cormac, how you doing, brother?
I don't know, man. I mean, fucking, I'll put their ceiling at 9-8. That's right. I got 3 team ceilings at 9-8 and one at a couple games higher than that. But floor wise, this is gonna be my lowest floor. I think 5-12 is probably where, like, there's still enough here where they'll be good. Like Emeka Ibuka is going to be good. Chris Godwin, you still got him. Kate Otton's a decent tight end. Bucky Irving, I think is going to. I think Bucky Irving is going to be disappoint a lot of fantasy owners this year. I know he took the job from Rashad White. I love Bucky Irving. Loved him at Minnesota, and then unfortunately he went to Oregon, but he did really well at Oregon, got himself drafted. He's done really well for the Bucks. I just don't think he's an every down bell cow type of back. I worry about that for him. And then this defense is like every other defense in this division. There's nothing to wow me about it. I think they're all going to be okay defenses, but none of them are going to be like phenomenal. Like none of these teams are running away with their defense.
No.
And when they're playing these games that are outside of division play, like I feel like that's going to be a point of weakness against some of the better teams in the league. And they play a really tough schedule, all of these teams. So, I mean, when you're going up against Baltimore, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, even Minnesota with Kyler Murray there, like I feel like a lot of these defenses are going to get eaten up in a lot of their schedule, which is why I just don't have a ton of confidence for any of these teams to post like an 11+ win record.
No, it's going to be tough for any of them. I mean, it's going to be something. I mean, I'm literally copy pasting exactly what you said. That's where I think the Buccaneers land. Just like maybe they go 9-8, maybe they don't, maybe they go 5 and something. But it's going to be a rough year for the Bucs. They need to figure it out, though. But I didn't think about the full rebuild. That had not crossed my mind yet. But that makes a lot more sense with what they're doing.
Well, And again, I don't think that's their plan, but if
no, not the plan, not what they want to do, but they
but
are
they're
evaluating where they're at.
yeah,
Right
they're smart enough to realize if shit hits the fan this year, you don't want to be
let's
stuck on
just eject.
you don't want to be
Let's fuck
stuck
it
under a
up.
4-year, $180 million contract with Baker Mayfield.
No, God, no. God, no. As a Cardinals fan, let me tell you, you don't want to be stuck under any contract because we're still paying, I think, 2 quarterbacks. But that's again, we'll get to the Cardinals in a minute. Anyway, that was the NFC South. Noah, you ready to do the NFC East, least, beast, whatever you want to call it?
Depends on the year, but I'm ready for it. Yeah, I mean, name wise, that's what I'm saying. Name wise depends on the year. They've been the NFC
well,
beast.
Noah,
They've been the NFC least.
Well, if we're talking about the NFC East, we would not be a proper sports show if we did not start with America's team, with the team that Jerry Jones had to build a window into the end zone so that God could see through to watch the Dallas Cowboys
And
play
blind
some
opponents.
football. And blind CD Lamb. That is my favorite video.
Oh yeah, wait, that goes both ways. whoever loses the coin toss gets to choose the direction of the field, and then in the second half of those afternoon games, you're looking directly into the fucking sun.
Right there, buddy. Oh man,
easy fix. Install some fucking shades on the window, and we'd be all good. That'd be diabolical too for them to install like shades, but depending on which way the Cowboys are going when the sun hits it, like
they just roll them up. Yeah,
that would be.
Dude, that is such a home field advantage. How have they not thought about that? Because the NFL would have to wait a whole season to make that rule. Yeah, they'd have to wait a whole season. Cowboys, we just won you a Super Bowl. Congratulations. Put some blinds in, brother.
Yeah. Literally install the fucking blinds, and then when you got those games where the sun's coming through directly into the players' faces, if it's your players, you just shut the blinds, and if it's the other team, you leave them up. And then the NFL, like you said, AJ, has to wait until the next offseason to vote on, like, hey, we need to make a rule about that.
Can't do that, brother. Just can't do it.
I'm all for it. Cowboys should do that. That's diabolical. I love it.
They really should. They really should. But Jerry, if the Cowboys end up doing that, I just want it on the record, I would take season tickets for that season. Okay, if you install blinds, I will take season tickets. But you have to install the blinds like literally the week before, week of the first game. You know, this can't be a scheduled thing that you tell the NFL. It has to be on a whim or something like that. But anyway, I don't really want the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl, so he's probably not going to do that. But anyway,
well,
let's talk.
They still got 8 or 9 road games per year, so that, you know.
McCormick, thoughts on North Dakota State and Jacksonville State? Brother, go watch the video last night. That's right. Go give us that view on that video last night. We talked about this game. We talked about it. Anyway, talking about the Cowboys. Noah, they went 7-9-1 last season. Can you remind me who did they tie with?
I don't even remember, but I feel like
it was the Packers. That's hilarious. Anyway,
that's right. I decommitted that to memory. That was my second least favorite game of last year after the Denver Broncos one, where Micah Parsons tore his ACL. And
I'm not gonna lie, Noah. I've been waiting for about 2 months to pull that joke out on you. So
I didn't even remember that until you just said it. To be honest, I had decommitted that fully from memory.
But some big changes this offseason for the Cowboys, Noah. Did you know that Matt Eberflus only lasted 1 season there? Isn't that shocking? He only lasted 1 season at the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
Damn, but he's so good at his job.
Not good enough. Go ahead and bring in Christian Parker as the DC. He's from the Vic Fangio tree, and we like Vic Fangio on this show, so shout out to him. But hey, they started to overhaul the defense, this offseason, which they needed to because, I mean, ranking 32nd in points allowed and ranking in the bottom third of every other statistic imaginable on defense Not a great way to represent America's team, if you ask me. Okay. But the one thing that is so overlooked about last season, I think, is how awesome this offense was. I mean, Dak, CD, George Pickens, Javante Williams, they were crushing it, bro. They were. I mean, this was a good offense last year. And Jake Ferguson. I mean, shout out Jake Ferguson. Can't forget about Jake Ferguson. But I know this got Ryan Clark fired from ESPN, Noah, and the only reason Ryan Clark was fired from ESPN, but I like how the Dallas Cowboys are looking this year. I really do. I think they've made a lot of changes on defense that have gone positive, and that offense is just so high powered, so fast, so good. And God, I hate everything I'm saying right now. Dak Prescott MVP season possible. I'm saying that. I think he might be a guy that we're talking about late in the season that's in the MVP conversation. This is going to be a good team, Noah. This is going to be a good team. Where are you at with the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, they'll be decent for sure. Yeah, this offense is high octane. It was last year. You got a lot of the same. When you got, in my opinion, what might be the number one offensive line in the NFL, which is not the first time the Cowboys have had that. I will say the one thing that Jerry Jones does phenomenally well is drafting offensive linemen and having a absolute ironclad, star-studded offensive line. We've seen this every time Dallas has successful seasons. It's because they have a really good offensive line. They build this over the course of a couple of years and usually keep it going. Sometimes it falls apart. They rebuild it. It's really good. Remember what happened to Zeke after he left Dallas, or that offensive line wasn't quite as good. I mean, not saying that Zeke was bad running back by any means, but, it helps when you got a bunch of big motherfuckers who all have, well, in this case, all have the same name up front. I think Dallas's offense is going to be really good. I do agree with you. I think their defense has gotten a little bit better. I think it's still going to be the thing that holds them back. I like Dallas to finish top 2 in the division here. I don't think they're going to win it, but and this is a tough division too, where you had massive regression last year with Washington. I think they're going to bounce back from that bit.
Yeah.
I think the Giants are on the up and up, and the Eagles are what they are. They're the Philadelphia Eagles, I like Dallas to finish second in the division. I do think they're going to have a top 3, top 5 offense this year. I don't know what that defense is necessarily going to look like, but I think they're going to be in and competitive in a lot of games. Dak, MVP. I think he's going to put up some really, really good stats. Don't be surprised if he's a top 3 fantasy quarterback this year. I don't think the Cowboys are going to win enough games for him to have a reasonable MVP shot.
Okay. With that being said, what's floor ceiling?
Ceiling I'm going to put it at 7 and 10. They have a fairly favorable schedule this year, so I think that helps. I think worst case scenario, the Cowboys are going 7 and 10. That light schedule, though, for the most part, helps them out.
Light, brother, you're facing the entire NFC West. Besides the Cardinals.
Yeah, but that's. We're gonna get into the NFC West because I think there's only 2 good teams in the NFC West. Spoiler alert, and only one dominant team in the NFC West going into this season. By the way, another fun fact that I'm going to drop on you here just as a foreshadowing precursor. Average number of teams that repeat into the playoffs year in and year out in the NFL is 8. There are 14 teams that make the playoffs every year. And I just think it's funny because on social media, you see all these things, people predicting, the playoffs. And it's basically most of the same teams that made the playoffs last year. No, just over half of the teams that make the playoffs every year actually return the next year.
All
Little
all clickbait
foreshadowing here, but
accounts,
yeah, I
Noah.
think Dallas is going to have a good season here. Um, Playing the AFC South is helpful for them because I don't think the AFC South is particularly strong. The whole division here is going to have that. And so, yeah, like I said, floor 7 wins. I got the ceiling for the Cowboys all the way up at 12 wins. Everything goes right, and they're really, really clicking. They have the number 1 or 2 offense in the NFL. If everything really, really goes right, I do expect some regression from George Pickens as the wide receiver too. A lot of people are really high on that. I think CD is still going to do what he does, but I think Pickens is not going to have quite the same level of season that he did last year. So realistically, I like him at 10-7, but I think ceiling up there 12-5. If Pickens, CD, Javonte Williams, Dak Prescott, the offensive line, Ferguson, all just like really, really clicking, and they finish with that offense number 1 or 2, I think they win 12 games.
No, I'm right there, Noah. I think it's 12-5 is their ceiling. 10-7 is what they're gonna do. Shit hits the fan though. I mean, realistically, they go, oh, like 6-11. I mean, but like again, worst case scenario, bad shit happens. But no, I like this Cowboys team a lot. I like this Cowboys team a lot.
You know, say what you will about Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, everything like that. When shit hits the fan, they still never end up with a top 10 pick. Like they're maybe picking like 11.
It's amazing.
They're maybe picking like 11-14, but like even when they have bad seasons, which do happen somewhat frequently, like they're not like bad, horrendous bad. They're just like shit. We finished a couple games under 500. Now we're picking 12th in the draft.
No, absolutely. Well, let's move on to a team that I think everyone is hyped about, and they're hyped about for the right reasons, but it doesn't mean it's going to lead to good football, good wins. Let's talk about them New York Football Giants, Noah, as they went 4-13 last year, which brutal. Just absolutely brutal. But it's okay. It's the first year of the Harbaugh era. You go ahead, you bring in Harbaugh from the Ravens, and you're like, hey, let's go ahead. Let's start this new. Cam Scatterbo, his ankle's good. He did the backflip at Fanatics Fest. He's been good throughout
team was
training camp.
Team was
and then he fell. That was
pissed
great.
about that.
He biffed it.
Fans were probably more pissed. Well, some fans were probably like, sweet. Yeah, go get him.
Fuck yeah. Go get him. Go do the back.
Fans were worried. Team was pissed.
For sure. Jackson Dart, though. I mean, Jackson Dart, such a solid quarterback. I mean, out of the 14 games he played, he had 216 completions out of 339 attempts, 63.7. I mean, that's the completion percentage you're giving me. I like that. 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, rushed for 400 yards. Huh?
Without Malik Neighbors, by the way.
Yeah, that was all without Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is still listed as questionable, should be healthy going into the season and ready to go. I like what they did in free agency. I mean, you bring over a lot of pieces from the Ravens, like an Isaiah Likely. Rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, they love their tight ends. I love that. And then, you trade Sexy Dexy. I was a fan of Sexy Dexy. I think he's going to do fine in Cincinnati, but was kind of disappointed they went away from him on the defensive side. But overall, I think this is going to be a growing pain season. I mean, this is Harbaugh's first year here. I don't have overconfidence in their defense. I think it's going to be rough, dude. It's going to be rough. I think Scatterbo and Dart are going to be the stars, and they're built to be stars. You know what I mean? But I think everyone's taking their star power into account too much to where, like, over their football ability. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Jackson Dart, a lot to love with year one. Scatterbo, before he got injured, obviously was one of the darlings of most of the public there. I do find it hilarious. Apparently, there's some reports that the Giants' defensive players, some of them are pissed off at Scadaboo because he's like,
I saw that, yeah.
because they're not allowed to hit the offensive players in practice, and Scadaboo's like rolling after runs and like almost taking out people's like knees and ankles, which tracks for him. I think that's going to be all nothing.
Oh, totally.
Once the season starts, it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're going to injure somebody. Which, again, totally on par for him. But Malik Neighbors out, like, all of last year. Like, only played basically 3 games.
2 games? 3 games, yeah.
Yeah. Got injured in early in week 4, and then was out the rest of the season. Wan'Dale Robinson ends up as a top 10 receiver in the league last year. Little Wan'Dale, who, raises the question: was that Jackson Dart's doing, or is Wan'Dale going to be that good? I don't know. He's going to be wide receiver 1 or 2 in Tennessee this year.
2 probably.
Well, I mean, it's Carnell Tate and it's Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, no, I know. I think it's good, Carnell Tate. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, no, I know. And Wan'Dale might end up being wide receiver 1 option there. Who knows? Just with Tate being a rookie, that's the only reason. But yeah, with the Giants, I don't know. I think their defense is going to be fine. I got a weird hunch that the offense is going to have some regression this year. They're like, even though they're coming into the season healthier, like I think Scadaboo is going to be fine. I think Dart's going to have a fine season. Malik Neighbors should be good after about 2 to 4 games, I think. As long as nothing gets like re-injured. I know there's a lot of like with those ACL surgeries and everything, there's like soft tissue question marks. He's young enough; he should bounce back just fine. And obviously, when he gets the target share that he does, he's going to be an absolute beast. I just don't know that the Giants are going to end up doing much more than they did last year. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of tape to put on film that looks really good to build forward on. But yeah, with a whole new scheme, whole new coach, new offense, new defense, there's a lot here. So I got quite a bit of variance with my floor and ceiling with this team. I think absolute ceiling, everything's clicking. They go 9-8. I got their floor all the way down to about 2-3 wins. Like they seem to have some shit going last year despite the injuries and everything. But if the new scheme isn't clicking with the absolute young players, I mean, the amount of guys they have in their first, second, third year that they're relying on as the big stars of the team. If shit's not working, they don't have the maturity and the experience to make it work. Like, this could be an absolute flop. So I'm going to have the floor for the Giants all the way at 2-15, but I do have their ceiling up at 9-8 if things do work.
So we're close. We're close on this one. I got their ceiling at 10-7. I think they could rip off 10 wins if everyone stays healthy, everything's clicking, Harbaugh takes over, everything's good. I like, 10-7 for them. Floor, I'm a little bit more generous. I think they don't do worse than 5-12. I think they rip off 5 wins in this with their schedule the way it's set up. You go into a nice little dip. I hate to say dip, but a nice little dip after the bye week with the Eagles, Washington, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, San Francisco as well. And so I think they can rip off a couple of wins there, but the Giants are an interesting team. They're interesting, but I think this team is more interesting, Noah, and I think this is the team I have the least amount of faith in this division, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. And I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, 11-6 last season, exit to a 49ers loss in the wild card. I mean, listen, Sirianni didn't make the divisional round, so he's officially on the hot seat for the Philadelphia Eagles. But granted, every Philadelphia coach is on the hot seat going into the season, if you are in the NFL.
Unless you were Andy Reid, who the city just loved for. I mean,
Yeah,
he
for
had a lot of
whatever
success
reason.
there. They made the playoffs almost every year, but Andy Reid, for whatever reason, the fans in the city gave him a much longer leash than they normally give.
Yeah, for sure. But they're pissed off. He went to to Kansas City and he's had the success he's had.
Yeah.
But hey, Diana Rossini, after all of the controversy and everything, she was right. AJ Brown, he's away from the Eagles. He goes to the Patriots. And we talked about it last season a lot, Noah. There seemed to be a lot of shit going on behind the scenes with the Eagles, that just locker room stuff not going well. Maybe they got rid of the cancer, maybe they didn't. They stick with Jalen Hurts over AJ Brown, which makes sense. Quarterbacks cost a hell of a lot more than diva wide receivers, so you might as well do that. But still, I mean, Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, Dallas Goedert, add Makai Lemon from USC. This is a solid offense, bro. This is a solid offense, ready to make moves if Jalen Hurts can throw, footballs. I think that's what it all comes down to. Can Jalen Hurts throw footballs downfield? I mean, he's still got Saquon Barkley, so he's going to dominate. Tush Push is going to dominate. I mean, Noah, why is it that I feel this Eagles team is going to suck ass this year? Why do I just have that feeling in my bones that this is not going to be a good Eagles team this year?
I don't know, AJ, because I think this is the runaway with the division team.
Really?
I think the Eagles are going to be a top 2 or 3 team in the NFC this year. They are not being stripped of both coordinators for the first time in 3 years.
True.
Let's not forget about that. This roller coaster, by the way, the team has made the playoffs every single year in this roller coaster. But, you talk about, 2 or 3 straight seasons where they've been stripped of both their offensive and defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
New OC in Sean Mannion, but Vic Fangio coming back for this defense. This is, I think, going to be a top 5, 6 defense in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is going to do his thing. You lose A.J. Brown. That's, I do think, a big hit. Makai Lemon's going to be a really good wide receiver, not quite the same as A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, I don't love as a wide receiver 1. I think he's maybe my favorite wide receiver 2. Him and T. Higgins are probably my 2 favorite wide receiver 2s in the league. Well, I guess Devontae Adams with the Rams is probably number 1, but they're really good. I don't know that I love Devontae Smith in a wide receiver 1 role, but then again, I think about that. He won the fucking Heisman at Bama, doing the same shit. So I think he'll be. I think he'll be a-okay. He might just absolutely blow the fuck up with AJ Brown out of the picture this year. He's certainly capable. Hurts is he's Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's one of the best passers in the league, but I do think he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if that makes sense.
That. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
He knows
I
how.
get what you're saying.
He's smart. He knows the playbook. As far as passing skills, yeah, I've probably got him outside of my top 15 if he really needs to throw the ball. But you have a great fucking offensive line. You got Jalen Hurts who can do it with his legs, and you got fucking Saquon Barkley in the backfield. So it doesn't really matter. Hurts, he can throw his 15 for 19 and 220 yards, and the rest will work itself out. I think this defense is going to be really, really good in year 2 under Vic Fangio. I think this is a really dangerous team. I think the Eagles are going to threaten to get back to the Super Bowl in the, I think, 3rd time in 6 years.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, I think this team's a real threat, and I do really like what the Cowboys have done this offseason, but the Eagles still run this fucking division, and I mean, schedule's a little bit tough. They're going to play some tough games. Going, 15, 16, 17 wins in a season is crazy. Saquon, I agree with you, beat Cormac. No,
And
Saquon's going to have a
McCormick.
big bounce. McCormick, yeah, there you go.
There we go. McCormick. I know it's been a while, Noah, but we leave off.
I'm rusty.
The
I'm
B is
rusty.
silent.
But yeah, no, I fully agree. I think Saquon's going to have a big bounce back year after his usage went down a little bit last year. He didn't perform quite as well last year. Still was a top 6 or 8 running back in the league, but big resurgence for Saquon. Jalen Hurts is the best when he's not asked to do too much. I think this offense is set up for that. Still got Goddard there at tight end, and I think the defense is going to put them in a lot of really good positions where they're playing with leads and they don't have to do too much. So I got the ceiling for the Eagles probably all the way up at like 14-3. I don't see this team finishing with a losing record unless Jalen Hurts has like a season-ending injury, which that's not the point here. Even if that's the case, I got like the floor for the Eagles at like 9-8, but I got their ceiling up at 14-3. I expect this to be probably about a 12-win team, 12-5. That's where I like them.
Yeah, I kind of like them. I have their ceiling at like 14-3. I think their floor is down to like 8-9, and then fuck me, I hate them. 10-7. Fucking hate the Eagles, dude. I'm so over the Eagles. I'm so over Philly fans, and I mean, the whole LeBron James thing has just made it a lot worse. But that's a whole other conversation,
Well,
I guess.
good thing LeBron doesn't play for the Eagles.
Oh man, but hey, he might sign on as tight end or something. I know there were talks
Make a
about
little cameo.
moving to tight end. He might as well. Anyway, let's move on to this. This is crazy, dude. Let's move on to the Washington Commanders. 5-12 last season, Noah. 5-12. I don't know about you, but I thought that was going to be a solid team last year. They just ended up not being. A lot of injuries. Lots.
Like I said earlier, this shit happens every year, though, and people forget that this happens every year. Team makes a conference championship game and goes fucking 5-12 the next year, and some schmuck team that you're not expecting anything from wins 4 or 5 games one year, and then basically just take Washington for both examples. The year before they made the NFC championship game, the year after they made it.
The year after.
Like shit can change really quick,
No, it is. And I mean, you look at this team like Bill. Bill had a great season last year, was a big fantasy football darling. And I think he's going to continue to move on with that success, even with Rashad White sitting behind him. Scary Terry. He was successful when Jaden Daniels was healthy. Jaden Daniels not that healthy last season, so that's always going to be an issue. Stephon Diggs is there. That's cool. I respect Stephon Diggs still being in the league. That signing, I'm not going to lie, did not make a lot of sense to me. Did not feel like a cultural fit for Washington, but I guess if Stephon Diggs is available, you go ahead and get Stephon Diggs. But
Diggs is not necessarily a cultural fit for any team, but
also true. Also very true. But I mean, overall, this team was kind of just sad last year. It was definitely sad. And a lot of reports coming out this offseason that Dan Quinn on the hot seat already after how bad last season went. It was like the injuries last year. Like that was a team bitten by the injury bug and they could not get ahead of it to save their life. Clearly did not have the depth in order to fill in those spots. But hey, that's football, baby. That's football. Defense wasn't anything to write home about. I mean, Noah, should I be excited about this Washington team at all? Should I expect anything more out of them? Because as of right now, I'm telling you, I'm not too stoked on how this season's going to look for them.
I'm right there with you. We'll see what happens with this season, but I'm not trying to jump the gun on it, but I'm thinking 2024 might have been a fluke success year for them. I don't think they're going to be as bad as last season. With the way that Dallas and Philly's looking, I like Washington comfortably in third in this division. I think they're going to be better than the Giants. I think they're going to be under the Cowboys, under the Eagles. I think best case scenario for them is they finish second, maybe at 11-6, have a chance at a wild card. But the way the NFC is looking, I don't know if 11.
It's tough.
Like 11-6 should grab you a wild card, but 10-7, there's no comfortable seating there at 10-7. Like you got to win at least 11 games, and 11 games might not even get you in. Like we'll see how the season shakes out. I just don't think they have enough weapons. I mean, you look at the receiving weapons. Scary Terry, he's getting older. He's coming off injury.
Yep.
Like he's been dealing with ongoing injuries. Like he should be solid, but like who else are you going to? Zach Ertz, he's a free agent.
Luke McCaffrey.
Right. Chigo Okonkwo being your top tight end.
Yeah.
I think Rachaad White's going to be really – I think we're going to see a good resurgence for Rachaad White here after he got a starting job taken from him in Tampa. I think there's going to be an absolute – like it's a split backfield with, Bill. You got Chris Rodriguez, I believe is still there. Is Chris Rodriguez still there?
No, at least the depth chart ESPN is hosting.
No, he was.
You got Bill, Rachaad White, Keaton Allen, and Jeremy McNichols.
Okay. Yeah, McNichols has been there forever. He's always somehow a small piece of the pie in that rotation. But Rachaad White's still a very young running back who has a lot of good football in him. I think we're going to have a full split backfield there in Washington. One guy may pull away from it between Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Rachaad White, but I also wouldn't be fully shocked, as much as I love Bill, if Rachaad White just takes the reins the way that Bucky Irving did to him with this backfield. But again, I'm a little underwhelmed with the amount of weapons in this offense for Jane Daniels, and the defense also isn't something that's inspiring a lot of hope inside of me that this team's going to be able to get back to even a conference championship game or even a divisional round game. I like their ceiling at maybe 11-6. Floor wise, I don't think they're going to be god awful, but yeah, floor wise, 5-6 wins. I think this team goes about 8-9, falls a game under 500, and that's kind of what I'm feeling with this Washington team here.
See, that's where I have their ceiling is 8-9. I'm not expecting.
You think they're going to repeat a disaster season?
There's not, again, Noah, there is nothing that is inspiring about this team in general. You talk about their defense. Brother, this offense doesn't give me any hope, doesn't give me any wishes. I mean, I love Jaden Daniels. I love Bill. I can't get behind the way that it's been going. And they've kept everyone essentially on the offensive side when you talk about like coaching staff. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of the same stuff. And I mean, even with people healthy, unless Rachaad White is that much of a difference, I think they have a bad season. I'm saying an 8-9 is their ceiling. Their floor is probably 5-12, and they're probably going to win 7 games. I think 7 games is even a stretch from what the schedule they have. But yeah, it's kind of where I got them, man. I wish I was more excited. I wish I was more excited about Washington, but I'm not.
And again, I'm leaning towards that 2024 season being a fluke. I'm not fully sold on that yet, on that take, but
it's a valid take. It's a very valid take. I mean,
they went 11-6 in that season, so like.
But let's remember, Kyler Murray also made the playoffs his first season.
Well, my point being, all they need to do is make the playoffs. But if they finish under 500, I don't know. I'm more and more sold on that take being accurate. The more games under 500 they are.
I'm with you.
It was a fluke one-off season. But I'm not fully there yet. I just have a hunch that may be the case.
Well, no, we've gone through the South and the East. You're down to take a quick break and refill and get ready for our North and West?
Hey, sounds good. Those are gonna be fun.
Let's do it. Before we do that, thank you all for listening, watching, YouTube, Rumble, however you're doing it. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit those follow buttons. I'm the perfect one, AJ. That's the Money Train Noah. We'll be right back. And we are back. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Happy Hour Sports Talk NFC coverage. Noah, we've gone through the South, we've gone through the East. Let's get to our divisions. Are you ready for it?
Oh hell yeah!
Hell yeah, brother. Well, let's go ahead. Let's start in the North, Noah. Let's start in the North. And you know, if we're going to the North, we're starting with the Bears. Let's go ahead and start with the Bears. 11-6 first year under Ben Johnson last year. Check notes. WON. What is that? Is that one? And then NORTH, North. So if you put those two, oh, they won the North. That's crazy. Um, Go ahead and beat the Packers in the wild card round, lose to the Rams in the divisional round. Don't know if you remember that, Noah, or if you have a memory block from those weeks, but that is what occurred.
Sure.
Do you recall that at all?
I mean, I remember that they got, should think they're lucky aces. They beat the Packers twice because both of those games should or could have easily gone a different direction there. But you know, even oh no, never mind. Probably shouldn't use that one. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Even a broken clock's right twice a day.
All right, I want to know what saying you were gonna use. If those were what you landed on, what saying were you possibly gonna use?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Use your imagination.
No, it matters. Go ahead.
I'll tell you off air.
Is it an owner can find a nut or something like that?
No, they'll tell you off air.
Wow,
it's okay.
Anyway, you know what? But last year was Caleb Williams' second year, and it was following the Bears cycle of keep the head coach, draft the new quarterback, fire the head coach, hire a new head coach with new quarterback. And so, we're at that point of, the circle of Bears head coaches and quarterbacks. But, hey, Caleb Williams, I will say, the numbers don't show it, but he did show improvement last year. And I say that with decision-making, him not running the ball as much, him not scrambling as much immediately, sat in the pocket a little bit more. But you look at his numbers year over year, and it's not something where you're like, oh wow, look at the jump he made. This guy's insane. It's nothing like that. I don't know if this is Ben Johnson's quarterback as the future of the Bears. And wild for anyone to say that with the Bears hiring a new head coach. I know, Noah. But it was an offseason of just getting deeper, developing defense, getting deeper weapons. You go ahead and get Kobe Bryant from Seattle. You get Devin Bush from the Browns. Like those moves. I'm not excited. I'm not excited about this Bears team, Noah. I'm not. Caleb Williams doesn't do it for me. DeAndre Swift is solid. Rome Odunze is solid. Luther Burden is solid. This is a good offensive core. You know what I mean? Shout out Colston Loveland, who's going to get a lot of love in fantasy this year. My point being, I think this is a situation where coaching is carrying the players, very much as Sean Payton has been carrying, Bo Nix with the Denver Broncos and everything. I think last season was very much of Ben Johnson picking up Caleb Williams, being like, all right, little boy, here's how we do things. Here's how you be a successful quarterback. Here's how you run an offense. And I think it's going to be a lot of the same of that. I have not seen the, it's kind of the same thing with Kyler Murray. I haven't seen the maturity out of Caleb Williams that I want to. But, hey, the defense is solid. This is a solid offense. Whether you like Caleb Williams or not, if Ben Johnson just says, hey, pick one or two, pick A, B, then Caleb Williams can run, a fourth grade offense. I'm not worried about that. He was with Lincoln Riley for however many years. I mean, he can do that. But overall, Noah, not stoked on what the Bears do. I think they're going to play well, but just not stoked on where they're at. What are your thoughts on your second favorite team in the NFC?
To your point there, AJ, Caleb Williams, we'll start there. Yeah, he won a Heisman. He got drafted first overall due to his play with Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley, great offensive mind. What do we always knock Lincoln Riley on? Has not had a top 30 defense basically his entire time coaching. I think you got a very similar thing with Ben Johnson here. Right? Great offensive mind. I mean, we saw what he did with Detroit.
Incredible.
We saw Detroit's regression after Ben Johnson left. Granted, they did lose Aaron Glenn too, so yeah, some of that too. But Their offense was still pretty good last year without him. We'll get to Detroit in a second, but I do expect some regression here from the Bears. Maybe not like a tremendous amount of regression, but I do think they're gonna regress a bit from last year. You lose DJ Moore. Luther Burden is one of my biggest circled on the board fantasy wise. This dude is going to be an absolute flop, way over fucking valued.
I'm with you.
Part of that
I'm
is
with you.
part of that is because I think Roma Dunze is going to be just fucking phenomenal, and the fact that there's any inclination, and I know Burden had a really good end of the season last year, but Roma Dunze's wide receiver one absolutely on this team, and Luther Burden loved him in college. I thought it was an absolute steal when the Bears got him in the draft. I just don't think he's wide receiver one, but whatever. I think he'll be a good weapon. Colston Loveland, I think he's also severely overvalued.
I don't think he is.
For production wise, what we're going to see. But my real issue here is that running back room. I don't know. Like Swift is getting older. Monengai's still there. They did great last year. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the Bears are going to be bad by any means. I think their offense is going to be high octane. It's Ben Johnson at the helm. It's still going to be high octane. They'll be good. They'll be good. I do think though, like young team, new coach, all of that. Second year coach here. I think we're going to see a little bit of regression. I don't have a lot of faith in the Bears defense being anything special this year, and they won a lot of close games. They had a lot of really close calls. I acknowledge, the two games that they did beat the Packers, both could have easily gone the other way. They had a handful of other games last year that could have easily gone the other way. Like this could have easily been an 8-9 team last year. But they weren't. They won 12 games. They won the playoffs. Won a playoff game. They won the NFC North. I can't deny that. These are all things that happened. But I think they're what I'm getting at is regression to the mean. I think they're going to maybe take a half a step forward from what they were last year. But if they don't get all the lucky bounces, lucky things going their way, even if they are half a step better than they were last year, they might win one or two games less. And I think that's a very reasonable thing that may happen. Caleb Williams, depending on how you look at it, like depending on what stats you look at for Caleb Williams, you've got a completely different viewpoint on how good of a quarterback he is. One of the worst completion percentages in the NFL every year that he's been in the league, by the way.
58.1.
He hates completing more than 60% of his passes.
But 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 3,942 yards last season.
And that's the trade-off, right? He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions because second he gets in trouble, his eyes usually aren't downfield. And he did do a little bit better of a job last year at like actually finding his second, third read.
Yes.
Beginning of his career, he was never looking
at it was bad
first read's not available. I'm throwing the ball out. I'm running out of the pocket, throwing the ball the fuck out of bounds. And he did a lot of that last year too, but he did get to his second read and occasionally his third read sometimes last year. I still don't know that his decision-making is fully there with what I want to see. NFC North, much like the NFC South, I think is going to be a real fucking tight division, like within probably 3 to 4 games from first to last place. I'm still not sold on Caleb Williams being the guy. I see people putting him up in a top 5 to 8 quarterback in the league type of situation.
That's wild work.
Yeah, it's just that's not it. Absolutely not right now. Maybe someday. I don't know. And then there's this whole debate that social media is loving because it's engagement farming as hell is how would you rank the 4 quarterbacks in the NFC North? Because everybody's got a fucking different opinion on it. Everybody's got a different opinion. I've seen every quarterback pretty much ranked first and every quarterback ranked last starting quarterback in the NFC North. Yeah, I don't know. He's got weapons, not the best weapons in the NFC North. I'd probably put the Bears' weaponry at offense as number 3. I honestly probably put the Packers as 4th. I mean, the Lions and the Vikings I think are 1-2 for me with
yeah, but
with the type of
all right, all right. I want to talk about the Lions and the Vikings. So can we get to the what do you think the floor ceiling is? Because oh man, I got so many takes.
I think my ceiling for the Bears is they repeat a 12-5 season.
Yeah,
I think that's my absolute
11
ceiling. I don't think they do any better than last year, but getting back to that 12-5 mark, I think is their ceiling. Floor, I could see them as low as 6 or 7 wins. They played in so many damn close games last year that if that repeats itself and they find themselves on the losing end, goes back to like 2-3 years ago when the Vikings won 10 out of 11 one-score games, won the division, had the 2 seed in the NFC, and then the following year had a losing record. Like I could see something very similar happening with the Bears here. There's just too many close games that if they all seem to go the Bears' way last year. If they don't go that way again, I could see the Bears down at 6-11, 7-10, potentially worst case scenario. But yeah, ceiling. I think their ceiling is where they were last year. I don't think they go any above that.
Yeah, I'm with you. They don't go higher than what they did last year. I have them again, huge window. I have them as low as 5-12. I mean,
I think they go 9-8. I think they go 9-8 this year. They drop 3 games and
just to be different. I think they go 8-9. I love Ben Johnson. I don't think the defense is where it needs to be, and I don't know if there's another step for Caleb Williams. I don't know if there's another gear. I don't know if there's any better.
I agree. I think we see him. He's reached what he is, which is a serviceable starting quarterback, and I don't think he's ever going to be a league winner or a league MVP type of guy. I think he's just going to be
he's on the lower side of the Kirk Cousins scale, which isn't bad, but I mean, he'll stay in the league. He'll probably end up being a Cardinals quarterback at some point.
Well, and I mean, if that super young duo of Odunze and Luther Burden ends up being
it works.
If it ends up being a Justin Jefferson and whoever else type of situation, and he's got 2 top 10 receivers, or if it ends up being a Jamar Chase and T Higgins type of situation that he's throwing to, yeah, he might be great. But I don't know. We'll see. They're all the Bears are super super young on offense, so there's a lot of question marks. That's why I can see a lot of it going both ways.
No, I'm with you. I'm very interested in the Bears this season. I'm not upset with the Bears. I'm not, I don't have the same despair as I have with the Cardinals. You know what I mean?
Well, they're not going to be dog shit. They should be a decent team. They should be a decent team.
No. All right, let's move on, Noah, because I got some hot takes coming in here with this next team, and I'm ready to unload if we're going to be completely honest. Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell, head coach, 9-8 last season, missed the playoffs because they went 2-4 in the division, Noah. What bums. And then what do these bums go out there and do, Noah? They go out and hire a offensive coordinator who just got fired. What did he get fired for? He got fired for being an absolute bum as being an offensive coordinator. How do I know this, Noah? Because that man would be Drew Petzing from the Arizona Cardinals. Okay. What's one thing the Lions had trouble with last year? Replacing Ben Johnson, getting a competent offensive coordinator in there, knowing how to use a pocket passer, knowing how to use Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, knowing how to use pieces on the chessboard. Let me tell you what the Lions got, Noah. They got a checkers player, brother. They got a checkers player to play some chess. That's the offensive coordinator they brought into this. And I mean, off of that alone, I am expecting a little bit of either normality or regression with the Detroit Lions. I still think Jared Goff is an MVP level quarterback. I think this offense is extremely high powered. How can you not talk about Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side and how good this defense has the potential to be? But I think that's the issue with the Lions. I think the issue with the Lions is that they are filled with potential, but they have not been able to execute on said potential yet. And and the Drew Petzing hiring, I'm not gonna lie, just blows my mind sky high. Like I don't understand. Like, yeah, the Cardinals look good, offensively and everything, but you have the number one tight end. We can't do anything in 2-minute drills, and so I don't know how the hell Drew Petzing got another job so quickly. But yes, that is a big pressure point for me, is how much of a piece of shit this guy was as an offensive coordinator. Noah. But either way, I mean, you go out and get Isaiah Pacheco, which I guess you need some depth there at running back.
With Montgomery leaving, got to have a backup.
Yeah, got to. But I don't feel good about any part of this team. Like, I hate to say this. This feels like the Lions of old. You know what I mean? It feels like they're almost starting to settle back into the Lions of old. And I think they're going to put up points. I think they're going to be a solid team. I'll just come out with it right now. I think this is a 500 team. I think they win 9 games. I think they go 9-8. I think their ceiling is 10 games, if we're going to be completely honest. And their floor is probably 6. Going, 6-11. I think that's their floor. But I'm expecting a very middle of the road Lions team.
Oh, interesting. I talked about with the Bears a little bit of regression to the mean. With the Lions, I think we're going to see the opposite this season. Now,
Really?
I do think the great success that they had in the year and a half, 2-year period under Dan Campbell was a little bit lightning in the bottle, and I said that going into last season, and then they missed the playoffs. And the Lions were actually one of my 3 teams that I picked in the preseason who made the playoffs last year to miss. The Lions, the Commanders, and I forget who my third one was, but I was spot on with both of them. And in my hot takes when we did that last year, just want to shout myself out a little bit where I said Carolina was going to win that fucking division. But yeah, I think the Lions are going to bounce back a little bit after a big down year. I still have a lot of faith in Dan Campbell. I do think a lot of that success was built on Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dan Campbell set the culture, but those 2 coordinators did a really, really good job in their short stint there at Detroit. There's a lot of fucking weapons with this Detroit offense. Jared Goff, great quarterback. I don't think he's an MVP candidate, like you said, but that's fine. Jahmyr Gibbs, there's a reason he's...
No, I said... No. I said he probably is still an MVP candidate. I said, I was shit-talking them a lot. I wanted to throw that part in.
Yeah,
still think that we'll talk about
there's a reason Jahmyr Gibbs is pretty much the unanimous, should be your number 1 pick in fantasy football this year. He put up crazy numbers with David Montgomery in a shared backfield last year. Pacheco is not going to get the same share that David Montgomery had. You're not going to have a 1,000-yard rusher in Pacheco there. Doesn't matter. Pacheco's still very serviceable if we're talking about the Lions as a whole. You got Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, as a home run threat there. Laporta's going to be a really good tight end as he has been. The offensive line should be pretty decent. Defense, there's some question marks in there for me. Terrion Arnold, obviously with the off-the-field shit, he's off the team. Seattle was
signed to the Seahawks.
Well, I don't think did he actually sign
yet?
No.
So, technically not, but...
We'll get to the Seahawks.
We'll dive into that in a minute.
That fell through, obviously, with 8 pending felonies. There's some muddy water there, to say the least.
You kidnapped the wrong person, dude. You kidnapped the wrong.
Again, with 8 pending felonies, there's a lot of muddy water there. But wouldn't expect anything else from the Detroit Lions.
Shout out.
Uh, yeah, and I think Dan Campbell, he's still got that culture, that environment that he has.
Yeah,
I think the
absolutely.
Lions are going to be a threat. I think, unlike the Bears, where I said, we'll get some regression towards the mean, I think with the Lions, we're going to see some progression towards the mean after a little lightning in the bottle where they way outperformed, and then last year they way underperformed. I think we're going to see the Lions with, 8 to 10 wins, which is probably where they should be, given the talent and everything with this team. Ceiling, I got them with the same ceiling as the Bears. If everything's absolutely clicking to get back to it, I think 12-5 is where they be at. Absolute floor for the Lions. I guess 6 or 7 wins is probably the worst that I see the Lions doing, because they do have the firepower to win games,
Yeah.
win some nitty gritty games. I think they can do it, but realistically, I like the Lions at about 9-8. Just one game over 500 there.
Yeah, I'm with you. 9-8. I think they're good. On my ceilings, I think that I don't have them that high. I have them 10-7. And then my floor is probably closer to 6. Like it's going to be a very middle of the road team.
I think they
Like not
I
a
think they
team.
miss the playoffs by a game or two. Like they're going to be right
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
right. They're going to be on that bubble with 3 games left, and I think they're going to fall just short of that playoff bubble.
I'm with you. I mean, I don't see. The North is hard this year. I would say the NFC as a whole is harder. Like I've had a harder time dissecting the NFC than I have the AFC this year. And we'll talk AFC next week and everything, but again,
Yeah.
that's just my personal.
No, I fully agree, because I think the NFC has a lot of good teams, but not a lot of great teams, and not a lot of like dog shit teams. Whereas the AFC has a lot more dog shit teams and a lot of really
Dog shit team.
and also a lot more like really great teams.
The levels are more defined. The levels are more defined in the AFC.
Yeah.
In the NFC, it's a little bit more.
Yeah,
blue.
lot more separation between good and bad in the AFC than there is in the NFC, I think, coming into the season.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, Noah, let me hear it. Green Bay Packers, the Cheeseheads, 9-7-1 last season. Lost in the wild card to the Bears. They ended up second in the North. The floor is yours, Noah. Tell me about the Green Bay Packers.
You say LaFleur is mine?
I said, yes, LaFleur. Because let me tell you, I'm not fucking happy with my LaFleur. So.
Hey, well, we both got a LaFleur. We both got a J Love. Basically, we're
oh, fuck, we do.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I don't have probably a ton to come out and say with the Packers this year. I think it's going to be, unlike a lot of the teams we've talked about, with a lot of changing, moving pieces. I expect a lot more of the same that we have seen the last 2 years from the Packers. It's going to be a team that's probably a couple games over 500, maybe winning the division. If they don't win the division, they probably get the 6 or 7 seed with the wild card. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Like Jordan Love, I think, has another decent season. Josh Jacobs, his charges, because we were talking about charges with Terrion Arnold, comes out today. 2 misdemeanors is all they charged him with.
2 misdemeanors. That's it, baby.
I don't know exactly how the NFL operates with that, but I don't think he's going to see a suspension with 2 misdemeanors, because
I can think of one person who might be in more trouble than Josh Jacobs right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know how the NFL operates. They give like 4 games for like a felony, so 2 misdemeanors. I mean that's got to be
nothing.
0, maybe worst case scenario, he gets a 2-game suspension. I don't know, but
I think that's more of a fine. I think it's a fine more than
right. I when I saw that today, I was like, okay, I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to miss any games, because
no,
not that it matters that much, because I think the Packers' depth at running back is one of the best kept secrets in the NFL right now. With Marshawn Lloyd, who has entering his 3rd year, has been super injured, so hasn't really gotten to play at all, but he was a 3rd round pick 2 years ago. out of USC, and Packers fans know that like we love this guy if he can just like actually stay healthy and see the field at all. Like he's gonna be a stud. And then Chris Brooks, the couple games that Jacobs was out last year that Chris Brooks played, if you play fantasy football, if you follow the NFL really closely, you saw Chris Brooks. He's got some good potential. So even if Jacobs does miss a few games, it's not the end of the world. But we know what he is. Wide receiver room, it's no different than the last couple of years.
No,
it's a bunch of
not
fucking
at all.
It's a stacked cast of wide receiver twos who's going to catch the ball, and it's going to be spread out. And I think there's good and bad to that, right? Like there's no defined wide receiver one, so you don't have an absolute stud like run away with it, going to absolutely dominate. But if you're a defense going against that, like all the top 4 wide receivers, like they're going to get an even share of the ball. So it's like who do you put your best DBs on, right? You know, people are going to be open. I think Matthew Golden, the way he finished last season, I think he's going to be in for a really good season. If Christian Watson can stay healthy, and that's a big if because he hasn't been able to do that, he's got the makings of a true wide receiver one. Just availability is his issue, obviously. And then Jaden Reed, who has been the guy who has kind of stayed healthy and has played pretty well in the absence of other receivers.
Yeah.
Could be really good. Offensive line, bit of a question mark. That could be interesting, but Jordan Love had a terrible offensive line last year and still did just fine.
66.3 completion percentage, brother. 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last season. That's in my book, that's a great season for a quarterback.
Yeah, and then Tucker Kraft back is huge. Tucker Kraft could be the leading receiver.
Dude.
Tucker Kraft could be the leading receiver for the Packers this year and could end up as tight end number 1. That is a stretch with
number 3, number 2, number 3 or 2.
That's why it's a big could, AJ. He could be if he's a leading receiver for the Packers, he could be number 1. A big could because Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, if they're both healthy, are probably 1, 2.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren.
Those were the only 2 I'm thinking.
Yeah, Tyler Warren.
No, Tucker Kraft is such a dog, dude.
But yeah, I mean, the value that Tucker Kraft has to this team is completely understated. The passing game was not the same after he got injured. And not just his stats, the wide receiver stats last year. It was not the same after he got injured. Jonnu Smith obviously just signed, so I'm a little bit more at ease with Jonnu Smith as the backup if we need. I mean, he's 2 years removed from an 88 reception, 900-yard, 8 touchdown season with Miami. But the offense isn't what I'm most excited for with this Packers team. And you might be saying I'm crazy because we lose our best defensive coordinator we've had in probably 10 years in Jeff Hafley, now the head coach of the Dolphins.
Yep.
Micah Parsons is going to be injured. He's going to be out the first 4, 5, 6 games.
6 and 7.
I can almost guarantee you Micah Parsons is going to be back for that Dallas game because he's a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
He's not missing that game for shit.
No, God, no.
I wasn't as confident coming into the offseason, and then all of a sudden, Packers are just making these little moves here and there, here and there, here and there. And now there's all this swirling about Josh Sweat might not be going back to Arizona on the team plane if the Packers can work out a deal before or after this preseason game. Jonathan Gannon, who you hated as a head coach, and
No. Time out, Noah. Time out. I didn't hate him as a head coach. He sucked as a head coach.
Okay, and that's fair. He got thrown into a shit situation. I also agree that he wasn't ready for a head coaching position.
No. He had one good season with the fucking Eagles, and Cardinals' dumbass ownership is like, oh, head coach.
But if we hit the rewind button to back when he was a defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles and how damn good that Eagles was.
He was dirty.
And, that's the reality of it here too, right? Like some guys, offensive, defensive coordinators, whatever side of the ball they're on, special teams even, some of them are really, really good at that, and they're not a great leader as a head coach. And I think that might be the thing with Gannon, but he's had a great track record as a defensive coordinator. I was sad to see Halfley leave, but I think Gannon, it's going to be a different formation for the Packers. He's beefed up the defensive line. He said, I want the biggest fucking guys possible on the D line. We're probably running two linebackers and like 5 DBs in most sets. And our cornerbacks a little weak. Packers probably have one of the best safety rooms in the NFL, but I'm excited for this defense before Micah comes back, and then insert Micah Parsons, especially if this Josh Sweat thing goes through, and you got Josh Sweat running on one end, and then if he's doing really good, and then you throw Micah Parsons into the mix here with the way that Lucas Van Ness played last season, I think this defense could be the surprising thing that most people are not ready for with the Packers, is that they have a top 5 defense in the league by about midseason.
Yeah. So you got to understand, my biggest issue with Gannon was that he wasn't calling defense. Like, the moment he got the head coaching job, he handed it off to Derek Riles, who fucking sucks. I mean, I was watching the preseason game with my wife and my mother-in-law, the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game and everything. And there was 2 minutes left on the clock. The 4 stringers are in and everything. And Marla, my mother-in-law, was like, oh, my God, they're going to win. And I said, Marla, you haven't watched enough Cardinals football. You don't know how this goes. And sure enough, the Panthers just running down on her ass, score on the last 2 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, Marla, this is my life. This is my life. And if Gannon would have called his own defense, if Gannon would have been that type of a head coach, I think he would still be the Cardinals head coach, because the boys were clearly for him. They fought hard. They had a solid season last. We'll get to them. But no, I shit on Drew Petzing. I have not shat on Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's levels to this shit. No, I think you guys gotta fucking steal with Jonathan Gannon this season.
Yeah.
I think
it's and again, some guys are just meant to be coordinators and don't have the head coach in them.
And you're telling me that he gets to play around with, Zaire Franklin, Edrin Cooper, and then all of a sudden, middle of the season, he's going to get a Micah Parsons to appear? Like, I mean, bro, Jonathan Gannon's about to go crazy.
Not even middle of the season, probably week 5, 6, Parsons is going to be ready to come back.
Shit.
And again, I think with Gannon calling the defense, again, some people just don't have that leader, that head coach mentality, that are phenomenal play callers.
Oh, no.
The
boys were for him.
Mike McDaniel on the other side of the ball, like one of the greatest offensive minds in football, but head coaching wise didn't necessarily work out. But yeah, I think Gannon's going to have a really good defensive scheme. He's clearly Goody's listening to him and like adding pieces that Gannon wants to that defense.
And Josh Sweat has been tied to the Packers literally since before the draft.
I really as a Packers fan, I really fucking hope that happens, because that defense is going to be top half of the league before Micah Parsons comes back, and then you inject Micah Parsons into the mix there. I'm not saying
playing Madden. He's playing Madden on easy mode at that point. I mean,
but I think there's a good chance that if everything works out, I think the Packers might have a top 5 defense in the league, which is going to be enough to win the division. Ceiling wise, I'm going to put them at 12-5, just the same as the Bears and the Lions. I do think the Packers are going to take their knocks. It's a tough schedule. Going to lose some games. I do have the floor a bit higher for the Packers than I do for the Lions and the Bears. I think 8-9 is probably my floor for the Packers. Even if Jordan Love misses some time, which he has the last 2 years, Malik Willis was great. But Tyrod Taylor, a weathered vet who knows how to play, he kind of fits that Malik Willis role in there, and LaFleur's done well with that. So even if barring a season-ending injury, even if Tyrod Taylor has to come in for a couple games, I think Packers still. I got that floor at 8-9. So I do have the floor higher than the Lions and the Bears, but I got the ceiling at about the same. I don't think the Packers. I don't think they're hitting that 13-14 win mark.
I think they do. My ceiling's at 13-14, 13-4.
Oh, you got a lot of faith.
I hate that I do. I hate that I do, Noah. But again, we saw what Jonathan Gannon did with the Eagles before he got hired by the Cardinals. And it
Won the
was
Super Bowl.
I mean, it was disgusting. Like, it was disgusting work.
Him and Shane Steichen.
Bro knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And, now you're telling me that, he's going to get – because, again, I do think Josh Sweat will be a Packer before the season starts. As a Cardinals fan, like, again, this has just been a trade that's been talked about since before the draft. And from what it's just a matter of figuring it out.
Probably by Sunday.
Yeah, and I've accepted that. And that is when I handicapped the Cardinals this season, I did not even think about Josh Sweat because I figured he was a Packer. And Jonathan Gannon, he gets to play around with those guys, and then all of a sudden, a wild Micah Parsons appears, and he gets to just, hey, Micah, just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I mean, the way the Packers defense is built, that's what it's built for. It's like, Micah, do what you think is best. Like, it's built for those elite players to make those decisions and everything. And I think Jonathan Gannon's going to do great here, and it pisses me off because he should never have not called the defense for the Cardinals. Whole other conversation. Yeah, no, I have their floor at about – I think you guys are going to do well this season. I got your floor at like 7-10, and I think you guys are really going to go like 10-7. I think this is going to be – I think 10-7 is going to be what wins the North this year. I think that's going to be what it does because let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and just roll right into the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to take Kyler Murray as our quarterback because we hate winning. We hate winning football games. And I really think that's the only reason the Minnesota Vikings have announced that Kyler Murray is going to be the starting quarterback game one. What a joke. And I mean, literally, Noah, if the whole thing about the 49ers had owner ordering a prostitute wasn't a thing, the big story out of this weekend would have been Kyler Murray in the chat of a Twitch streamer just saying she's hot and shit. So Kyler Murray was horny, but not as horny as Jed, whatever the fuck his name is from the 49ers. But
Jed York.
They're gonna be bad. What?
Jed York.
I knew I was close, but no. But getting back to
he used apparently a pseudonym for his name, but I was trying to figure out what that might be.
His pseudonym was Joe. His pseudonym was Joe, and he paid for the 160 option, which was with protection. The 180 option was no protection, and we know the 49ers, they like some protection. So.
Dear Lord. Anyways,
the Vikings are going to suck this year, dude. They have Kyler Murray as their starting quarterback. J.J. McCarthy with the backup.
Is he?
Neither quarterback have showed anything over the last 2 years. What, you think Carson Wentz is number 2?
I think Carson Wentz is going to be the backup in Minnesota, and J.J. McCarthy is going to be fighting with Max Brosmer for that third string spot, and a couple of Big Ten opponents there that are.
Well, if that's the case, then Kevin O'Connell should be on the hot seat.
No, not at all, because J.J. McCarthy is not one of the 2 best quarterbacks in that building, and I don't think Carson Wentz is
No, but Kevin O'Connell is the reason J.J. McCarthy is in the building. From all the reports I've read, J.J. McCarthy was drafted by Kevin O'Connell, not by the GM.
I just want the Vikings to admit that they fucked up with a top 10 pick and just move the fuck on, because stop trying to put him in like, oh, he's in a quarterback battle. This is 3 years running now. That this is the third year in a row that he's in a quarterback battle for QB1. The dude's fucking ass. There are 60 better quarterbacks.
9. Please respect his name. 9.
Yeah, well, there's 60 better quarterbacks than him in the NFL. Yes, I'm saying almost every team's backup is better than J.J. McCarthy. Like, I don't know why the Vikings can't just, like, take their medicine, admit the fact that they fucked up. He's going to get cut at the end of this season. He's going to get cut at the end of the season, and ain't nobody fucking picking him up. He's going to be a practice squad guy at best. And then the Vikings are going to have to admit to the public that, oh, yeah, we made a terrible fucking pick and he's trash. Anyways.
Kyler Murray's the starter for the team.
He's going to have a great year.
Dude, so no, he won't. No, he won't. Like, I hate this. I hate this dialogue going on right now that, oh, Kyler Murray, he's got, Justin Jefferson, he's got Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. Oh my God, he's going to be able to throw for 1 billion yards. Yeah, no, that's not what Kyler Murray does. That's not what he does. Everyone is so hung up on the Hail Murray where he just literally didn't know where the ball was going, threw it to the end zone, and prayed to God that, DeAndre Hopkins was in the end zone, and that's what ended up happening. But that was not a Kyler Murray high IQ quarterback decision. And the Vikings are going to figure out really quickly that he is not a high IQ quarterback. This is not a quarterback that Kevin O'Connell can fix. All of a sudden, he got, this quarterback whisperer type shit. No. And this is not like, and don't get me wrong, I had the same take when Sam Darnold, was with the Vikings. And I will own up to that. I was wrong about Sam Darnold. I was wrong about Sam Darnold. I have no problem saying that. I'm not wrong about Kyler Murray, okay? I've watched him play 8 years of fucking football for my team. Okay, he is literally maxed out. Okay, and now he's over in some Twitch streamers, chat, talking about how hot she is and everything. Like, bro, she ain't even playing Call of Duty. What are we talking about? You're a Call of Duty, bro. She's out here playing Fortnite. What are we doing? Like, I don't get it with Kyler Murray. I hate Kyler Murray. I hope he sucks this season. He's going to suck this season. And I would put good money. Like, I hate Polymarket and Kalshi and all that shit. But I might go on those sites to bet that Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison request a trade by the trade deadline, dude. Because that's how ass Kyler Murray is going to be. Because that's how ass Kyler Murray is. This is an ass team. This team is going to be the last team in the division. Because what's your backup after Kyler Murray? Holy shit, thank God we got J.J. McCarthy sitting behind this professional, this veteran. I mean,
I already told you he's not even the backup. Carson Wentz is going to be the backup. It's fine. Carson Wentz is outperforming.
Dude, yeah, and then Carson Wentz is going to play one game and break both of his ankles.
Yeah, glass bones. Well, he's not even going to play a game because it doesn't matter because Kyler Murray. I know how much you hate him, AJ. I know how much he has hurt you, and you're feeling that very much hurt in your soul. The weapons that he has in Minnesota. This is
the weapons. He played with Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins, and he fucking sucked.
Won games, didn't he? Didn't y'all get off to a 7-0, 8-0 start?
And then what happened? And then he actually had to play football. And then he actually had to try. Like, I will
throw it to Rasul Douglas. But anyways,
like Noah. Fuck you. That was mean. That was really mean, Noah. Hey, that was really mean.
I got you. Don't worry. Yeah. Justin Jefferson is about to be in for a probably top 2 season among wide receivers this year.
You're
I don't know where the fuck
joking.
you're going, but hey,
You're joking. He's about to be like the.
buckle the fuck in, because not that I think the Vikings are going to do tremendously well, because I think Murray is going to have his blunders where he turns the ball over. He loves to fumble it recklessly. He throws bad interceptions. That'll all still happen. But all the Jays, man, just go down the fucking Jays. You got Justin, you got Jordan, you got Jawan, you got Aaron Jones Sr., Jordan Mason. Yeah, I know. I as much as I fucking hate it because it's annoying as hell, I think the weapons that the Vikings have. Oh, and T.J. Hawkinson too. By the way, that's another J in there. Yeah, fucking Kyler Murray's got the this is a quarterback's dream. This is a quarterback's dream, and
No, this is a good quarterback stream. It's
nothing's
a good
really
quarterback stream.
nothing's
It's not
really
Kyler Murray
changed
stream.
over the last few years, other than Juwan Jennings now being wide receiver 3 is a huge ad for the Vikings here. But it just goes to prove how fucking ass JJ McCarthy is that this couldn't work. And then Max Brosmer, obviously, just probably. I love him because he did well with University of Minnesota. That's obviously my number 2 team in college football. But Brosmer was never meant to be a NFL quarterback. And the fact that he's still on this roster is crazy. The fact that he still could beat out J.J. McCarthy, he won't because McCarthy's under a much bigger contract.
Okay, so
the weapons are so phenomenal with this Minnesota offense. Like Kyler Murray has not had the full cast and crew. You look at almost his entire time.
Right. You're right, Noah. You know what he has had though? You want to know what he has had? What? A standard offensive line. And you know what he can't do? He can't look over his offensive line.
And I would have.
He has to start in the shotgun and then fucking scramble in order to see any receiver that's out there.
And I would have gotten to that if you let me get to my long-winded point.
Well, you were taking a long-ass time to get to the fact that Kyler
I said if you let me get to my long-winded point here, I would have
that was long as hell, dude.
Yeah. No, I think Kyler Murray is going to have a phenomenal fantasy football season. And
I don't know.
And I think Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison are going to be great fantasy football players this year. The Vikings, I think, finish a couple games below 500.
Bro, ceiling is dead ass. I think I'm being generous with saying 6-11. I think I'm being generous.
You are crazy for that. You're going to be dead wrong, and I fucking hate.
No, I really don't. I think that's the ceiling, dude. Is 6-11. I mean, this is a tough schedule they're going up against.
It is tough, but they're favored week 1 against the Packers.
I mean, I love free money.
No, I think they're gonna have. I think they're gonna have a nice ass season, and yeah, B flow on that defense is going to be important. And I put all 3 teams so far in the NFC North with their ceiling at 12-5. I'm gonna put the Vikings 1 game below that at 11-6. I think is their ceiling. I think best case scenario they're 11-6. If they do go 11-6, there's going to be at least one team that's a game better than them. Like they're not winning this division. I think best case scenario for them, they get second place in the division. They maybe squeak into a wild card. They maybe squeak into a wild card. Floor wise, though, I don't think it's any lower than any of the other teams in this division. I think 6-11 is the floor that I got this team at. Again, there's just so many. They're gonna be fun to watch on offense. Like if I could just watch the Cardinals and Vikings if I could watch the Cardinals and Vikings every week, like that's gonna be a just fucking sling it out gun show type of thing, and it'll be fun. But yeah, 6-11 is probably where I got their floor. 11-6 at their ceiling. I think they go 7-10. That's where I got 7-10. again, I think there's 3 to 4 games of separation between first and last place in the NFC North.
I will say I do want Kyler Murray to fail more so that we can end the Kevin O'Connell, quarterback whisperer conversation. You know what I mean? He's gotten lucky a couple of times. He's let them go out the building. So, I mean, how much of a whisperer can he possibly be if he just lets them out the building?
Well, I mean, a big part of that's on Kwesi Adolfo. I mean, the GM
got fired, didn't he?
He might have last year, but the GM's the one sending them packing. If you're talking about Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, go down the list.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. My Arizona Cardinals went 3-14 last year, Noah. That's an actual record in the NFL. We ended up, going ahead and firing our head coach, Jonathan Gannon, as you mentioned, now defensive coordinator of the Vikings, or the Packers, excuse me. We go ahead and hire Mike LaFleur, little brother.
You did hire little
from
brother.
The Rams. Our GM still has their job somehow. You know what the best thing we did this offseason was? The most exciting thing, the biggest signing we had this offseason, Noah?
What's that?
It was re-signing our quarterback that held out so we could pay him a livable, hazard pay, essentially. Is what
that's right. What quarterback was it that held you guys hostage in negotiations? Must have been a franchise guy, a true true top tier quarterback, right?
It was Jacoby Brissett.
Oh.
Dude, I hate this team. I hate this team so much, dude. The crazy thing is, I can come up with a reason to be excited and, to be hyped for 31 other NFL teams.
Can you? Jets, Browns?
Yeah. I can give the Browns. You're only going to deal with Deshaun Watson the first 2 weeks, and so Stuart Sam doesn't do that. That's exciting.
Is that exciting relief, though?
Dude, listen, we get Mike LaFleur in here. We sign Tyler Algier, and then what do we do after we sign Tyler Algier? We draft Jeremiah Love 3rd overall. Bro, what the fuck are we doing? We keep the bum-ass defensive coordinator, Nick Rallis. I mean, this guy is gotta be top 5 dipshits of the year. I mean, no, I had a whole speech prepared, but I'm just getting choked up at how shitty we are. It's unbelievable. I mean, let everyone that's worth a damn out of the building. Carson Beck is our best bet. Dude, fuck me. What are we?
He's not even gonna see the field.
Dude, no, we're gonna start him probably. Oh, what was it? The week we were gonna start him. Give me 2 seconds. Because first of all, this team is going.
Hey, no, let the brisket smoke, baby.
So what? Well, first of all, we don't have a bye week until week 14 because
it's chill.
Cardinals.
Yeah, no,
that's chill.
Don't worry about it.
That's chill. Don't worry about it. And I mean, all right. Let me read off our first
13 weeks straight.
Let me read off our first 7 games. Chargers, Seattle, at San Francisco, home against New York. No, at New York, excuse me. Home against the Lions, at Los Angeles, home against Denver.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of losses.
A lot of them. So I think we'll see Beck probably week 12 because after week 7 we have at Dallas, at Seattle, home against the Rams, at Kansas City. Why
Sounds like
the
more.
fuck are we playing Kansas
Sounds like
City?
more. Sounds like more losses.
Noah, like,
you know that meme where it's like just the dishing out the L's. Like that's what it feels like.
so before the bye week, we play Philadelphia at home. Okay, at least we're at home. We play Philadelphia, and then
But after the bye week,
after the bye week, New York Jets, Saints, Raiders, San Francisco.
sounds like 4 straight wins to end the season after a 0-13 start.
So
Just flip
if
the
New York
script,
sucks,
baby.
if Tyler Shuck isn't what we think he is, if Fernando Mendoza doesn't play for week 17 for some reason, and then if San Francisco sits their starters, they just don't need point differential to get Noah. When I would like to announce the Arizona Cardinals as the first team in the Arch Manning sweepstakes.
Arch ain't even gonna be the number 1 pick, though, dude. Don't even
Noah, unless the Cardinals lose, he's going to be the number 1 pick.
No. Because not that I'm going to get into it, but when Josh Hoover leads Indiana to a second straight national championship, you guys going to have Hoover, who's a better pick.
Yeah, but you got to remember who is in the front office of Arizona, who the owner is of Arizona. Well, because I guess I should also announce the head coach of Arizona next year will be Sark. We're running it back, bro. We're running it back. We're running back the Heisman winner and head coach combo. That's what the Arizona Cardinals will look at. This team is going to be shit. Let's not puff around it or anything. This team is winning.
Yeah.
I got their ceiling at 7 games. Excuse me, I have their floor. I know, that's a lot.
Okay.
That's a lot. Again, that is if all of the stars align, the moon's aligned, and astrology is a thing. Like, I think they win 7 games. Realistically, I think they win 3 games, and their floor is 0 games. This is like, we have an offense that can get it through. We have you got Michael Wilson. You got the number 1 tight end in the league in Trey McBride. I don't give a shit what anyone else says. He is the number 1 tight end in this league and will be making so much money when he gets out of this Arizona Cardinals contract and some other team decides to pay him a shit ton of money. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's caught more balls this offseason than any other offseason. I think he might actually catch some balls this season. Jeremiah Love, fantasy owners, stay away from him. He is not getting more than 10 touches a game. Tyler Algier is the one you're going to want to target. I think he is going to be our bell cow. He is going to be our guy. This Cardinals team sucks, Noah. This is a bad team. This is a bad team, and Mike LaFleur is being set up as the fall guy. He's going to get booted for Sark when we bring in Arch because that's what the Cardinals do. And then guess what? We're still going to suck with Arch. We're going to suck so hard with Arch because we don't have an offensive line. We don't have a defensive line. We don't have a defensive back except for Budda Baker, who's the only thing worth half a damn on our defense.
He's getting older.
Bro, I saw this. I saw a notification come across my screen the other day that said Baker had been traded. And I was like, oh, fuck me, Budda Baker. He finally had enough. He's gone. But no, it wasn't Budda Baker. Thank God. But I hate the Cardinals.
Clearly, yeah. Well, you're self-loathing there, AJ. I do agree with a lot of what you said. Not everything, though. I think the Cardinals are going to be okay. I think, let the brisket cook. Let the brisket smoke. I think Jacoby's going to actually have a nice-ish season. You got some good weapons there. I think MHJ is actually going to have a huge jump this year. which
I think he's going to be a nice like 5th round, 6th round fantasy pick where you can
yeah,
just, you
I
know,
I if you're looking at fantasy wise, I think ADP, I think MHJ is going to absolutely outperform his ADP. I think Michael Wilson's going to be right at, if not below, his ADP. Trey McBride obviously going to get a lot of targets, a lot of catches, a lot of yards, a lot of
bro,
touchdowns.
I've been seeing Trey McBride like 1-2, like round one,
Jer-
round like early round two.
yeah, Jeremiah Love. I think I agree with you. I don't think Algier is going to be the bell cow. I think Love is going to
He will be. No, Love is getting
no.
the Genty treatment.
I think Love is going to outtouch and out yards Algier, but Algier is going to have a good 30, 35, 40% share of that backfield. I think anybody who's taking a late first, early second, even a late second on Jeremiah Love is going to get burned by that because, again, I do think Algier is going to take up about 30 to 40% of the touches in the backfield. I think that's fair. Cardinals offense, I think, is going to be fine. I think Cardinals offense is going to be fine. The defense,
we just kept this dipshit around, Dick Riles, who fucking doesn't know shit about defense.
Well, that's why
everyone got fired on the coaching staff except this dipshit. How the fuck did this dipshit not get fired?
All right.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. No, I'm done.
You know what? Again, I think the offense is going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be spectacular. I think it'll be fine. Defense, I don't think is going to be very good. However, I do think the Cardinals don't finish worse than last year. Floor-wise, I'm going to put them at 2 wins. Ceiling, I can't get above 6 with the ceiling. I think I'm putting their ceiling at probably 5. I think I'm putting their ceiling at 5-12. Realistically, I think the Cardinals win 4 games this year. I think they're going to go 1-13 before the bye. I don't know which game they're going to win. And then I think they're going to win 3 out of their last 4 games just to give their fans a little bit of hope that, maybe things are turning right. Yeah, their 3 easiest games are right after the bye week, so that does make a little bit of sense. It's not a crazy.
Our bye week isn't until week 14, and we play a schedule that's as if we fucking won the NFC West last year. Yeah, can I just for fun, Noah? Just for fun, our first 5 games. At Chargers, home against Seattle. At
you already went through the schedule.
New York, home against Detroit. I mean, oh my god! How the heck did we win a game? How did we win a game?
Again, I think this is going to be a team that steals a game, maybe 2, before their bye week. It's a week 14 bye week, so they're going to be 1-12 or maybe 2-11 going into the bye. But I do think they're going to finish with 3 out of 4 at the end of the season, finish strong, and probably be a top 5 pick, but maybe not number 1. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, I mean, it's bleak. It's not great. Not going to sugarcoat it. The Cardinals are bad. They're not going to be great. But I do think this offense is going to be a little bit explosive.
Overs, all the overs. Any game the Cardinals are playing, take the
I think they'll be a great over team. They'll be a great over team because the defense is going to give up a lot of points in that offense.
All of the points. Literally every single point imaginable, Noah, the defense will give up. They're going to get a safety on themselves. They're going to find a way to get a defensive safety, Noah. That's how well this defense is going to play.
I love a number of Cardinals players from a fantasy perspective because I do think this team's going to be playing from behind a lot and they're just airing the fucking ball out. So Trey McBride.
Oh, Michael Wilson is number 1. Like if you can get Michael Wilson.
No, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a better season than Michael Wilson by a not super slim margin.
See, but I've been seeing him in the 2nd round, 3rd round, and I think that's. And again, I'm a Cardinals person.
Where you,
just the mock drafts I've been looking at, brother. I've been seeing. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live for about 4 hours.
Anyways,
and I'm going to draft a bunch of.
Moving to a team that has a wide receiver that should be worthy of a 1st round pick. I stole your thunder there. You like that?
Worthy of a first round pick, worthy, and a quarterback that's an MVP. This,
There's two ways you can go with this.
oh, I know. I'm talking about a team that might be getting a former defensive player of the year within the last 5 years. They might be getting him back. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams, Noah, because I mean, we're dealing with the current MVP. We're dealing with, all of the wide receivers in the world. Yeah, did someone bite someone and do some anti Semitic stuff? Maybe, but at the end of the day, can he catch a football? Can he catch it really well? Yes, he can. Puka Nakua is that guy. Don't forget that he has Devontae Adams to take all the pressure off of him. Jordan Whittingham, sure. Whittington. Excuse me, not Whittingham. Whittington.
Tutu Atwell's back as of today.
As of today, yes. Tutu Atwell being back as well. I mean, Noah. Like the NFC West is packed. Let's not, but I really feel this is a two-team race. This is a Rams and Seahawks race. This is which one of those do, and I feel like the Rams did what they could in order to establish that. They go ahead and make this probably the second biggest or biggest trade in the NFL in getting Myles Garrett from the Browns.
Will Aaron Donald be back?
And that's the thing is Aaron Donald's going to be back. He's been what?
I doubt it, but it's a fun thing to just tease a little bit,
So I don't think Aaron Donald's going to be back week 1. No, I don't think Aaron Donald's going to be like on the opening day roster or anything. I think he's going to be a guy that we see, around late October, early November, early December, like where they're making that push, getting ready for playoffs. Let's get him some reps and everything. That's where I see Aaron Donald coming in. I think he'll be a late addition to the roster. But even without Aaron Donald, this is a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. This Rams team, regardless of what happened last year, I know the Seahawks coming off of the division win, the 1 seed, the Super Bowl win, cruised through that, looked really nice. I was doubting them the whole way through. I'm going to continue doubting them because I think the Rams should be and are the favorite to win this division, as well as
Seahawks are.
Right. I said I think the Rams should be.
Oh, should be. Sorry, I missed that word.
Should be the favorite to win this division, to win the NFC. And honestly, they're up there. I don't know for sure 100%, but like this is one of my top 2, top 3 teams coming into the league this year. Seahawks are out of my top 3. I'm not saying the Seahawks are going to be bad, but I think, things shook out a little bit differently last year. The Seahawks might not have been in the Super Bowl, might not have won the Super Bowl. They did. That's, in the past. It's here and there. It's in the history books. But, the Rams go and they add Myles Garrett.
That was a trade that
you come up a little bit short. And what do? And this is total Rams fashion. This is what they've done under Sean McVay. Is you come up a little bit short, right? You come up just short with Jared Goff. Lose 13-3 in the Super Bowl. What do? Go to the GM, make a big blockbuster trade, bring in Matt Stafford, ship off Jared Goff, who, no shade to Jared Goff, but, he lost 13-3 in the Super Bowl. So
was getting it done.
Shake things the fuck up. The Rams last year, very good last year. Came up short, didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. And, they're going to go make a big trade for Myles fucking Garrett, the best defensive player in the goddamn league. And now you're teasing with an idea of Aaron Donald coming back or not. I don't know. It doesn't matter whether he does it or doesn't. The Rams are, in my opinion, the favorite to win the NFC. They should be, or maybe the favorite in the entire NFL this year. Like, it's just more of the same. they're running the ship very well, and there's hardly any weaknesses on this team. You got a two-headed running back duo with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, who both could be bell cows on.
No one talks about Blake Corum at all. They talk about Kyron Williams. They don't talk about Blake Corum.
Blake Corum's going in fantasy drafts before a handful of starting running backs on other teams. Like that's all you need to know. I mean, the Rams, it's a well-run ship. There's a well-run team. Somehow they find a way to lose enough games every year to like not be this like dominant 16-1 team. That's I don't know. Ever since Sean McVay took over, they love to lose like 3 to 6 games just to keep things interesting. But we'll see what happens with that. I don't think they're good enough to go full undefeated, especially when you got the Seahawks and the schedule that they have. But man, this Rams team is going to be really good. I got their ceiling all the way up at 16-1. It's a ceiling. They're not going to hit that. Realistically, I think they win 13 to 14 games this season if they stay fully healthy. I love them at about 13-4, maybe get to that 14-3 mark. Get the 1 seed, which will be super crucial with, we'll get to Seattle in a bit, but winning that division and getting that 1 seed over anybody else will be huge, securing the home field advantage. Floor for the I don't see the Rams winning less than 11 games. This is probably the highest floor I've got in the NFC. I think 11-6 is probably like worst case scenario for the Rams. Is where I got them at.
See, I'm at 10. 10 is my floor. I think 10-7 is probably my floor. I'm with you. I think 15-2 is probably the best they can do. But this is a tough schedule they're going up against. Probably around 11 wins, 12 wins is enough to win this whole thing, and enough for them to get the 1 seed, get the bye, anything like that. But that's going to be most of these NFC West teams. Let's go to the 49ers, Noah. Now, let's get the elephant out of the room, okay? Did their owner happen to get caught, acquiring for prostitution in East Palestine?
Okay.
Ohio.
I thought you were going to talk about Shanahan's mustache.
Well, we could also talk about how Shanahan was in a car accident that was never reported, and then he was in concussion protocol, and how the 49ers, kind of do a lot of sketchy shit. We could also talk about how
glorious, by the way. That's all I needed to say about it.
I thought it was mid. That's why I didn't talk about it. I thought it was a mid. Like, if you're going to come out of a car crash, I'm going to need a better mustache.
We've never seen this man with facial hair, and then all of a sudden, boom, preseason, he's got this Tom Selleck mustache. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know he had it in his bag. That's all I needed to say.
But regardless, you got this substation, Noah.
That's all I needed to say about it. Glorious mustache.
And everyone and their mom seems to be injured for the 49ers going into this season. Christian McCaffrey seems to be, like it was a planned, we're going to,
he's got a obtuse tendonitis.
Tone up, tone down, tone back up. But Noah, am I out of pocket saying this is the worst team Shanahan has had as a 49ers head coach?
Oh, I think if it weren't for the Cardinals.
By the way, where's Brandon Ayuk?
He's I don't know, in Aruba or something. Who knows? But no, if it weren't for the Cardinals, I think the 49ers are going to be bad this year. And you kind of stole my thunder. I thought I was coming in with a hot take that was going to really take the stage, but apparently you're down on them too. Which great minds think alike. So. I hate
the 49ers more than the Rams, so I'm always going to look for all the weaknesses in the Niners, but that's a whole other conversation.
And that was part of the Cardinals' schedule, which I didn't say when we were going through the Cardinals because I wanted to save it for this. I think the Cardinals could split games with the Niners this year, which was a portion of –
those are one of the few wins I have.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Cardinals grab a game or two before the bye week, that lengthy period before that week 14 bye week. But I think they played the Niners twice in there, and
In Seattle.
I don't think they're going to win a game against Seattle. I don't think they're going to win a game against the Rams, but I think they could split games with the Niners. I don't think the Niners are going to be particularly good this year. I've never been a fan of Brock Purdy. I've, since he came into the league, been very actually anti-Brock Purdy, that he's not
good. 100%. Yeah.
And just what I see, the eye test, he never passes for me, and he's still leading this team. I don't think Brock Purdy should be a starting quarterback in the NFL, and I've said this since he's been a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's down a lot of weapons this year. Debo obviously coming back. I did late stash Debo in a fantasy league where I ended up getting him in the 13th, 14th, 15th round, something like that. And I said, all right, fuck it. I mean, Debo can't be that bad. He's a deep bench depth player. That's fine. But Ayuk's gone. Ricky Pearsall is injured, not going to be available. Juwan Jennings is in Minnesota. Who the fuck is Purdy throwing the ball to? George Kittle, going to be out.
Dejuan Stribling, but they have also been hurt by the substation. Kyle Juszczyk is questionable per substation.
Well, Juszczyk's a fullback, but you know what I'm saying? Like Kittle's going to be out the start of the season. Like, who the fuck is Purdy throwing the ball to? Like, we just are.
No, again, if the Cardinals didn't exist, I'm with you. This is the worst team in the NFC West.
Their defense should be good. Which is their only saving grace, because you're trying to feed me the fact that Christian McCaffrey is going to single-handedly carry this offense to being competitive. I'm sorry, when there's no receiving threats, what's leading any defense that's playing the Niners not to just clamp the fuck down on McCaffrey the entire game? And then what are you doing? And if McCaffrey gets injured like he has the last 3 years, what the hell is San Francisco doing? That offense is going to be so fucking bad should McCaffrey get injured. If he stays healthy, they're mid at best. Like, I just don't see San Francisco's offense being anything productive this season. And their defense is going to be the only thing that keeps them on skates. But like I said, if something goes wrong with the defense or something goes wrong with like McCaffrey or anything like that, like, this team could easily finish a couple games under 500. Like, the fact that they're being a somewhat popular pick as a wild card team, I don't think they sniffed the playoffs this year, if I'm being completely honest.
No.
I think we're going to be in for a rude awakening. And the only positive thing I can say about them is I love Kyle Shanahan's mustache. It looks fucking phenomenal. He should have done that years ago.
All right. I got to look this shit up now. Because apparently it's good. I have not seen the Kyle Shanahan mustache.
Oh, it's healthy. It's thick. It's healthy. Like,
Kyle Shanahan mustache. I mean, that's kind of a pedo stash.
And again, you get so thrown off because the guy's just clean shaven his whole career, his whole life, and then all of a sudden he decides.
Is that the one you're talking about?
It looked a little bit better than that in the preseason game tonight. I had it on.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
Oh no,
that's a brutal.
He had a full bushy Tom Selleck looking mustache going on.
About to say that's a brutal looking stash.
Maybe not the right look for him, but I do respect.
Throw myself behind.
I respect the game. You know, I mean he's got some healthy thick mustache hair there.
If that's how he's looking, then I'm definitely not feeling any better.
That's how he's ready to cope for a 6-win season. You know, so.
All right, one more team, Noah, in the NFC. Let's talk about it. We waited till the end. Our Super Bowl champions, Seattle Seahawks, and our boy Sam Darnold, not seeing a lot of goes this last season. Definitely a lot of opportunities for him to see goes. Didn't see any goes, which I have to commend him on. And then I also have to commend the fact that, I mean, besides Kenneth Walker, who did they lose? You know, defensively, offensively, this
Super
is a
Bowl
team
MVP.
that's able to.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. I get it. Wait, oh, McCormick, I can't give you a bet on the spot right now. I'm sorry. Give me tomorrow. But um, yeah, fine. You lose your Super Bowl MVP. You lose him to the Chiefs. It happens. It happens to the best of us. I wouldn't know about it because I'm a Cardinals fan. But I, I, Noah, I mean, this team also being on Hard Knocks. I mean, I don't know if you've been able to watch any of it, but seeing
I
how
haven't.
tight this team is,
Yeah, I haven't seen much of it, but
dude, this team is tight. This team is grooving. This team is together. And yes, they had some losses, but overall, like not debilitating losses, like not any losses. Like I'll be honest, like Aaron Donald will move the betting lines and everything. I think the Seattle Seahawks should be the favorite to win the NFC West because they're running it back with the same team. I know we've seen all of the Super Bowl hangovers and everything like that. It doesn't feel like that with this team. And this feels like a Seahawks team that is ready to not only run it back, but run it back even better than they did. This defense seems more tight. This offense seems more tight. I mean, you sign everyone that you needed to. You give everyone the money to be happy that won you the Super Bowl. Yes, you lose Kenneth Walker, but you go ahead and get Darian Price in the draft. You know what I mean? Like I'm feeling really good about this Seattle team, and I'm not just blowing smoke up their ass because they won the Super Bowl this last year, but I think this is a Seattle team ceiling 12-5 just because they have a seriously tough schedule ahead of them.
they do have a
Or
seriously tough schedule.
no, and the schedule is brutal for the NFC West this year.
No,
But
it should be.
I
That's
think
how it should be. You win the Super Bowl, you should get one of the toughest schedules in the year. Like,
yeah, but again, one of the three teams didn't make the playoffs, so can we take some respect into that? I think 12-5 is their ceiling again. I don't think they do the 14-3 thing again, but I think they win the division. I have their floor at 9-8, and I think they win around 11 games, 11, 12 games. I mean, I just don't see how Seattle can operate. Like, they didn't lose a serious coordinator. They didn't lose anything too major. Like I just don't, you know what I mean? Like the Patriots, a couple, when they were on their dynasty, they didn't lose enough to lose. You know what I mean?
fair, fair, fair. AJ, you might want to put your seatbelt on here. Yeah.
Ah!
This is a team that won the Super Bowl last year. Yeah, they were really good. They had a great season. I think they're at risk of maybe not making the playoffs this year. Maybe. They should make the playoffs. They should make the playoffs.
They
but
should.
They're going to be at risk of not making the playoffs because they have a gauntlet of a fucking schedule, and I don't think they're any better than they were last year. Yes, they won the Super Bowl. They were the best team last year. That's fine. Like, whatever. But you know what? I just don't feel it. Kenneth Walker is gone. I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. Charbonnet might not even be running back number one, even though
they're going 5-0 before they go into Denver.
I don't know. That game against New England's going to be tough to start the schedule. They got Washington. They got LA. It's a tough fucking gauntlet of a schedule, especially early on. This team, and I do think they'll be favored in most of those games, but they fall on the wrong end of those, and then there's not an easy stretch to this schedule for them.
No, not at all.
I'm going to put their ceiling at 11-6.
Wow.
I think they're going to lose games. They're going to lose games. Maybe I should be a little bit more generous and put them at 12-5 for a ceiling. But floor wise, I mean, I don't think 8-9, 9-8 is out of the picture for this team potentially going from Super Bowl champion to missing the playoffs, I think is an absolutely real scenario that could happen. I still think they finish second, even if they go 9-8. I think they finish a game better than San Francisco. Everybody and their mom online is like, oh yeah, okay, NFC West is going to be 3 teams in the playoffs. Yeah, that doesn't happen often. 3 teams in one division in the playoffs means you got to, well, I guess now with 17 playoff, you got to grab 2 of the 3 wild card spots. I think the NFC North is really good. The NFC South, I don't think is capable of grabbing a wild card spot, because I think whoever wins the NFC South is going to be a worse record than the third place team in the NFC West or North. But the NFC East, I do think Dallas and Philadelphia are both going to be good enough, and Washington may threaten enough that I do think there's a realistic possibility that the NFC West only sends 1 team to the playoffs this year. Do I think that will happen? No, I think they'll have 2. I think the Seahawks will get in, but I think it'll be at a 10 or 11 win season behind the Rams. And you know how those conference games are just so competitive. But
yeah,
I'm just saying, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on here, AJ, as you love to do. And I'm saying there is a realistic possibility, I think, this season that Seattle misses the playoffs entirely after winning the Super Bowl with not that much roster or coaching change. But I feel like last year was a little bit of a lightning in a bottle type of thing for him. And, you look at the 2 teams in Super Bowl, New England and Seattle. I think New England has what it takes to replicate, if not improve, on what they had last year. I just don't see any room to go up for Seattle from what they did last year. And yeah, you can say
they can't.
They won the Super Bowl. How do you get better than that? Well, you can be better. You can just win the Super Bowl more dominantly and have a more dominant path. I just find it more likely that Seattle regresses this year. I don't think it'll be enough to the point where they miss the playoffs, but I do think that is on my radar that they might miss the playoffs this year, and they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot in the last 3 weeks of the season.
A parity in the NFL. They have done an incredible job of that, of making, as you mentioned earlier in the episode, 8 of however many teams actually go back to the playoffs and everything.
Yeah, that's the average. 8 out of 14 return the next year.
Exactly.
On average, 6 of the teams that made the playoffs last year are not going to make it again this year.
So you're saying the Cardinals aren't completely dead. I appreciate that, Noah.
I mean, like we talked about earlier, we saw Washington go from an NFC championship game to a 5-win season.
Well, that is the NFC, Noah. That is our entire NFC coverage. You have any other final thoughts or takes you want to throw out there?
I do not. I'm excited for football season, baby. Let's go.
Dude, so excited for football. I can't come fast enough. But with all that being said, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. If you like what we're cooking, please hit the like button, hit the follow button. Helps out a lot more than you know. I'm the Brofect one, AJ. That's the Money Train Noah. And we'll see you next time on Happy Hour Sports Talk.